Welcome back, everybody who has been watching or is just joining me for the first time. I wouldn't recommend that, honestly. I am in the middle of Chapter 2 of a very mystery-solving, focused, plot-twisty kind of game. So there will be spoilers for the first chapter of this game, and I will probably make comparisons to previous games in this series. So, yeah. You have been warned. This is your last chance to back out because I'm going to talk about some spoilers in a minute here. This is my first time playing through this game, by the way, so, yeah. Let's see. So, last time, we started Chapter 2, got a few hours into it, and let's see. Gonta kidnapped everybody because Kokichi told him that everybody hated bugs, and Gonta wanted everybody to like bugs, so he gathered everybody up in a room and let a bunch of bugs loose. And I'm pretty sure a few people were traumatized by that. But the reason for that was because Monokuma did his thing where he sends out videos containing, motives for everybody. But everybody got the wrong ones, so everybody got somebody else's motive video. And everybody kind of collectively, almost collectively, most of the characters decided, we don't want to see these videos because we don't want to be motivated to kill anybody. But some of them were like, I still kind of want to see it because, well, what if it's really important? And then Kokichi is, a little shit, and, just, he kind of wants to go along with the game, because he's an evil mastermind himself. I don't think he's the mastermind of the, of what's going on here in this particular scenario, but yeah, I would honestly be surprised if he was, because it's way too obvious. He's like the ultimate criminal mastermind or something. But yeah. And Shuichi, our new protagonist, because the first protagonist went and got themselves killed, started meeting with Kaito to work out and exercise and, I guess, get stronger for some reason that I wasn't quite clear on, but around the end of my last stream, Shuichi said something very ominous. It's not like because the whole thing with Gonta and Kokichi caused Shuichi to miss out their daily exercise, and Shuichi's like, well, it's not like I'm never gonna see him again, and that exact phrase is setting off all kinds of alarm bells. I don't think Kaito's gonna survive this chapter. So yeah, let's 2313. This, okay. I actually had to look and see what which save file I was using. I don't know why I do that thing where I make multiple save states. There's really no reason for it. It's not like I'm gonna go back and visit anything, but and it's not like there's any benefit to it either, because if it follows the same logic as the previous games, if you ever screw up during a trial, you just get to restart from where you screwed up, and it only really affects your ranking at the end. But there's not any point where you make a choice and it sends the story off in a different direction. It's not like a branching visual novel or anything. So I don't know why I have it in my head that I should just make new save states every so often. It's just a habit that I got into while I was playing the first game, and I've just kept doing it. Oh yeah, and Himiko and Angie are putting on a magic show because Angie indoctrinated Himiko into her religion. So yeah, somebody's gonna die today, I'm pretty sure. The insect fiasco yesterday, and now this? Do we really have time to be doing this stuff? Well, I suppose I shouldn't think about it so much. I'll just go to the gym for now. Yeah. And if my voice does sound scratchy or stuffy, it's allergies. I'm not sick. I'm not dying. I don't even have a cold. It's just allergies. It's been dry and windy, dusty, so yeah, my nose is a little itchy and little stuffy. Voice is a little scratchy probably, but yeah. Okay, to the gym to see the magic show. Smoogie, what do you have to say on this situation? I think I've pretty much got everybody's names memorized by this point, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Are you okay?
You look a little bit sick. Yeah, it's just the sound of those bugs buzzing is still in my head. Even after I went to bed, I still kept hearing it, so I didn't get that much sleep.
That's...
Yeah, that was pretty traumatizing. But the way it ended was pretty hilarious, because Kibo was like, hey, guess what? I have a recording of Kokichi saying that Gonta's an idiot and that Kokichi hates bugs. And Gonta hears it and he's like, oh, well, I'll make you like bugs, Kokichi. And then everybody escapes while he unleashes another room full of bugs on Kokichi. So, justice. A real supervillain ending for a supervillain plot. I love that. And then the Monocubs went to give the videos back that Kokichi had stolen. But I have a suspicion they probably gave them to the right people instead of the wrong people like they were originally doing. But that hasn't... a particular plotline hasn't developed yet, so we'll see. Gonta would be sad to hear it, but I like bugs even less now. Yeah, that was... Gonta did go kind of overboard on that. You know, the way you get somebody over a phobia or a dislike of bugs, you gradually expose them to them. You know, like, if Gonta just had a couple of bugs in containers and would just, like, show them to people, you know, instead of just unleashing an entire room full of bugs on everybody. I'm glad there aren't any bugs outside of Gonta's lab. Or wait, are there? Gonta did say he thought he saw a tiny bug once. Oh yeah, he did say that. Yeah, and he found a piece of graffiti or something that seems like a clue, but we can't really tell. Even with Gonta's 20.625 vision, he could only barely see it, right? I don't know if that is supposed to be like really good vision or what. I'm not sure what the rating system for vision is, honestly. I've thought like 20/20 is like perfect. So I don't know what I don't know if this is even a thing or if it's just something they made up to because it sounds more impressive. Isn't it possible he was just plain mistaken? Oh, and I guess she adopted a new catchphrase of calling everything just plain because of how plain she is. So now she's calling everything just plain whatever, so I don't know. That's weird. Like, she just suddenly started doing that too. Like, we had a conversation with her, and then she suddenly started remarking about how plain she is. And that's why she's so good at cosplay, because she, like, disappears into the characters and all that. But now she's calling everything just plain, and it's weird, and I don't like it. It's kind of annoying. I'm so over bugs. I'm just going to forget last night and enjoy the magic show.
You're right.
Yeah.
All right.
The show's in the gym, right? I'm gonna go on ahead. According to the minimap, nobody else is out here. Wait, is there a way into the gym from the outside, or am I wasting my time running around? No. Okay. It's been a little longer since I last played than I would have liked. I was going to do this yesterday, and a plague of technical difficulties just destroyed my motivation to stream even once I took care of them, but yeah. So I had everything ready to go. I clicked start streaming on OBS, and then I realized I had the wrong screen up. I didn't have my my hold on I'm setting up screen up. I had the main capture up, and I tried to quickly switch to it, and OBS didn't like that, so it crashed. And so I had to open that up again. And once I had that all set up, I noticed that my microphone here was kind of twists onto a little stand here, and it was loose. So I have to unplug it to like twist it back on, because otherwise the cable gets all twisted up. And when I plugged it back in, my computer just completely decided, oh, that microphone, no, it doesn't exist anymore. You're gonna have to completely restart to get that to show up again. So I restarted my computer, and my computer didn't like that. It decided to completely crash instead of restarting. And it said something about like a driver power issue or something like that, so I have to update some drivers. And by the time everything came back up online, I was like, I don't want to stream anymore. I don't want to touch my computer for the rest of the day. So yeah, this could have been happening yesterday, but then I wouldn't be talking about why it didn't happen yesterday. Kibo, what's up?
Kibo. Yes.
Good morning, Shuichi. How are you feeling today? Are you still sore from the events of last night?
Okay.
I'm fine. Are you alright?
100%.
Yes, I'm fine. I've recharged the electricity that I used on my recording function.
His recording function is a cassette tape, by the way. He's a futuristic robot that runs on cassette tapes for recording.
I'm very happy that I was able to finally use my functions to help everyone.
Kibo's recording function. It's not exactly revolutionary technology, but it did help a lot.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Kibo. You really earned your title of Ultimate Robot.
Well, of course.
Oh, it was nothing, really. If you ever need my help for anything, please don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah, sure, I will. I sure will.
So, the magic show is starting soon, yes? Everyone has probably gathered in the gym already. We should get going as well.
The gym is this way, question mark? I have not memorized the map of the school yet. That's the dining hall, store, warehouse. It is on the other side. Because of course it is. Why would I ever go the right way first? Level up. Wait, was it downstairs? Map. Oh. I went the wrong way again. I was going the right way the first time. Just not all the way the right way. I know what I'm doing. Still don't know what this door's all about. Is that maybe somebody's, like, ultimate lab? That's not ready yet? Kirumi. I did forget her name. She's the maid who only wants to do what everybody else wants to do. Because apparently that's like a ultimate maid thing.
Good morning. Everyone else is already gathered for the show.
Is that right? I suppose everyone's looking forward to it.
Mew seems particularly excited. Her eyes were lit up like a child's.
She's that excited, huh? Well, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited too. Yeah, we might get to see the so-called ultimate magician. I forget which one she was like. We get to see her actually do some actual real magic.
By the way, it seemed that some outrageous events transpired last night.
Yeah, Kokichi tricked Gonta into going along with his motive video screening plan. But thanks to Kiba, we put a stop to it. It's okay.
I see. So Kokichi does truly intend to oppose us.
Please, go ahead.
No matter. Let's go inside. Everyone is waiting.
Whoa. Seems like my mouse sensitivity is off or something. Can I? Well, screw it. I haven't changed any settings, so It's probably just the Amazing Himiko's Magic Show. Well, this is even nicer than I thought it'd be. Welcome to our magic show. What do you think? Isn't it divine?
Okay.
Yeah, it is. I didn't think you would have a real stage set. I didn't think you would have a real stage setup. Did you and Himiko do all this? No, this would have been impossible with just 2 people. I got others to help us. Kaito and Kibo helped carry equipment from Himiko's research lab. I designed the stage, but Kirumi sewed the curtains. Everyone is so nice. Atua deserves all the credit.
No.
Shouldn't everyone who worked on it get the credit? Yeah. A god did not do this. People did this. Well, I didn't ask you to help because I didn't know what you'd be useful for. Did you really have to say that? Just sit tight. Once we're done preparing, we'll start right away. Done preparing? You're not ready yet? The star of the show needs to settle her nerves. The star of the show requires mental preparations? Is that unusual? I think most performers do some kind of, you know, like, do some kind of preparation before they, like, actually get on stage or in front of the camera or whatever. She's shaking like a leaf. So what, is she the ultimate magician, but she's never actually done a show or something? Or is that just what she does? Because Kaito's the ultimate astronaut, but he's never been into space. He's just a trainee. Himiko, are you a bit nervous? Just a little bit. Doesn't look like just a little bit. Because the magic I'll be performing today is the Extreme Water Magic Underwater Escape Act. I've never successfully cast it before. It's pretty difficult, so I'm a little nervous. You've never cast it before? Maybe you should practice before trying to do it in front of an audience. Just saying. And today, in order to raise the stakes, there's a time limit. If I don't escape from the tank within the time limit, piranhas will be dropped in. I'll be pureed. Piranhas don't actually do that. That's a myth. They're carnivorous, but they're not nearly that vicious. And they don't usually attack larger prey. They don't swarm like that. Pureed? This is looking a little dangerous. The water is cloudy. I can't see very clearly, but I do see fish swimming around. Those are all piranhas, huh? Yeah, they do look like piranhas. They don't look like normal piranhas. Those piranhas were in my research lab. Angie said we should use them for the show.
No.
Wait, piranhas are way too dangerous. Tenko. Himiko, please reconsider. They're piranhas. They're nothing like lasagna.
My magic.
No need to worry. I'll instantly kill all the piranhas with my magic. You're gonna kill them? I thought this was an escape trick. Himiko, are you serious? There's no way I can stop now, since Atua is watching the show and all.
No.
There's no such thing as Atua! Angie has brainwashed you!
Was that?
You don't believe in my magic? Well, I can do it. I'm a skilled young girl. 'Cause I'm a mage. She psyched herself up and headed straight to the water tank. Of course I believe in your magic. You're my precious friend. Tenko.
Yoo-hoo.
That's some very ominous music. Is that supposed to... Ready, Himiko? Did you say your prayers and use the bathroom? I said my prayers and went pee. Then let's get the show started. Is everybody even here? Oh. It's starting already? But not everyone is here yet. Maki, Kokichi, Ryoma, and Kaito aren't here. What happened to Kaito? I thought he'd be here for sure. Wonder if something happened. Well, you did say you basically did cast a death curse on him by saying, "It's not like I'm never gonna see him again." So, yeah, Shuichi, if Kaito does die during this chapter, I'm blaming it all on you, Shuichi.
Thank you, Atua, for being with us today. Boo! Boo! You're supposed to thank us first.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Tenko. Thank the people who made this possible.
Yeah, ha 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 ha! I present to you the mysterious, the miraculous, the amazing Himiko! The magic I will perform today is the extreme water magic. Underwater escape act. If you would please turn your attention to the water tank in front of you. When the timer above the stage starts, Himiko will enter the water tank. Once she's in the tank, her assistant, me, will draw the curtain in front of the tank. After 60 seconds have passed on the timer, a separate suspended tank will open and drop in a school of piranhas. Oh my goodness! After the piranhas have fallen and the curtain is opened,
I can't help but think that attempting to perform this kind of trick in the middle of a murder school game might not be the best idea. But what do I know?
if by some miracle Himiko has been gobbled up, please give a big round of applause.
Wait, you mean...
Just
Oh.
kidding. It's a joke.
Are you feeling all right?
I'm concerned about Himiko. She is not responding properly to Angie's jokes. Going to worry. Going to have bad feeling.
Yeah, no kidding.
Atua, please protect Himiko. What am I doing praying to Atua? That's Angie's shtick. I guess you could pray to some other god.
Yeah, there's only like 1,000 of them.
Well then,
Pick one.
let's begin. The amazing Himiko's magic show.
In her typical high-pitched voice, Himiko made her announcement and started the timer. Then she took a breath and dove into the water tank.
Okay, I'm closing the curtain.
I don't know if I like where this is gonna end. If that curtain opens up and it's just a tank of bloody water, I will not be surprised. But I will be annoyed. Because it's so predictable. Whoops. I clenched my fist nervously, my palms damp with sweat.
Himiko is still not out.
It's only been 20 seconds. Come on.
She went in mere moments ago.
Well, do you think she's all right?
Gonta's starting to worry. Should we do something?
She still hasn't come out. Are you sure she's okay?
Gonta can't take it anymore!
Gonta cried out, leaped out of his seat, and
Gonta?
ran up to the stage.
Oh, you can't do that. We're still in the middle of the show.
But if Gonta does nothing, piranhas will eat Himiko!
That's not what your text box says, Gonta.
Huh?
I mean, it's close enough, but...
Less than 10 seconds remain.
I don't care if it ruins the trick. Just come out. This stress is bad for my heart.
I mean, what's the... She jumped into the water. She wasn't even tied up or chained up or... There's nothing to escape from besides the water. Like, what exactly was the trick supposed to be?
Himiko!
Right when the timer hit 0, the buzzer went off, And then... the bottom of the suspended tank swung open and the murky water and shadowy shapes inside fell straight into the water Himiko was swimming in.
Huh? Huh? Look! The piranhas!
Hurry! The curtains! Open the curtains already! Got it. I'm opening it now.
When Angie pulled apart the curtains... is it gonna play the "We Just Found a Body" song? We've witnessed an unbelievable sight. Oh! What? No! Okay. What the fuck? As we weren't trying to process it, we didn't want to acknowledge it. I didn't expect that.
Great, huh?
Behold, the magnificent underwater escape. Huh?
A body has been discovered. Everyone, please gather in the gym.
We're already in the gym. A body in the gym? Then when Himiko turned to look at the water tank. So Ryoma just got eaten. Was he already dead, or did the piranhas kill him? I didn't... I expected some shenanigans with the piranha tank. I didn't think it would be, didn't think it would be Ryoma. I thought if anybody it would be Kaito, because of that foreshadowing, but... wow. Well, I wasn't reading. For the second time at the Ultimate Academy, the body discovery announcement sounded out. Those who weren't present at the magic show heard it and came running.
What?
What's going on? I don't know what happened. We should break the tank, right? We gotta check what's inside. Break it? Yeah, break it. It'll take too long to drain it by hand. What would we even use to break... Gonta, Keyboy, you're up. What do you mean we're up?
So dumb.
Gonta, throw Keyboy as hard as you can. Use that robot like a battering ram.
Not mock me!
Who are you calling a battering ram? Gonta, throw Kibo. Got it. Then I'll help too.
Please, wait!
Now wait just a second. You don't need to team up now. They just did that. Okay. Be nice to Kibo. The sound was intense. A wall of piranhas and water dyed red with blood rushed out. We watched helplessly as the area flooded with water. After some deliberation, we decided to start cleaning everything up. I made sure not to disturb the scene more than necessary. With Karumi's expertise, we were able to clean everything up enough to start investigating. I mean, shit. I've gathered Ryoma's body and belongings in one place. Kibo looks depressed. He was just used as a battering ram, so I understand why. He's been reduced such that he can be carried in one hand. How fleeting and fragile life is. Going to put piranhas in bucket. Piranhas all got big tummies. Going to think they full. Today Ryoma is fish food and tomorrow he'll be fish shit. Don't say such things.
Himiko?
Himiko, are you okay?
Is this...
This wasn't an accident, was it? Does this mean the killing game has started again? How could this happen? We swore to each other, didn't we? We swore we'd never let the killing game start up again. So that was all a lie. You guys are liars. All you liars apologize to Ryoma. He believed that the killing game wouldn't happen anymore. Your disingenuous tears mark you as a liar right now. Oh, you figured it out? You got a pretty good eye there, Kyo. Kokichi, you little shit. Hey, guys! How's it feel now that you got a second murder victim on your hands? Ryoma's transparent? Has my X-ray vision superpower finally awakened?
Rise and shine, Ursine!
Father, you don't have superpowers. He's just been reduced to a skeleton.
Finally, we've been waiting for the killing game to start up again. That means we can put all this boring crap on hold and start playing the blame game.
You're raring to go, Mono. Who are you again?
Monosuke, you should at least remember your own kid's name.
Manafani, are you okay? 5, 4... Are you counting, Manafani? Where are you counting? Because 3, I'm seriously gonna 2, puke, 1, now! Ah, she puked again.
What the hell are you doing, you failure? Listen up, we're here to make sure the killing game goes smoothly, capiche?
Also to keep me company. And new mascots present lots of exciting business opportunities.
Shut up, you failure!
What, me too? This conversation is fun and all, but we really should get this over with. Don't we need to start investigating or something? Alright, I'll get the culprit this time for sure. Hurry up and give us the thingy. You mean the Monokuma file, right? I also investigated the cause of death this time, so read it to your heart's delight.
Oh, this is sorta unrelated, but I got a great business idea.
Yeah, that's totally unrelated.
Let's use this Monokuma file to start a funeral services business. You know how it gets awkward at funerals, they'll start asking about the cause of death. If we pass out Monokuma files, even the worst deaths will get a giggle out of the attendees. Well, Pops, what do you think? Huh? Cute.
The way you pass out the files is just so cute. Why don't you come over here with me?
Pops is gonna lick me all over.
Father's showering Monosuke with all his love. You think maybe Monosuke is right? Maybe Father doesn't like us anymore because we're not hostile and threatening enough. I think maybe I'll follow Monosuke. In any event, let us begin the investigation. Investigation? So it's really going to start again. I can't believe it, one of us killed Ryoma. Someone among us. No more. Going to no wanna investigate friends. No wanna suspect friends. Then don't do it. I'm not gonna investigate either. Huh? You'll be fine if you're a short person, and I doubt a child caregiver could be much help. What? Wait, Maki. I tried to stop her, but Maki didn't even turn around and kept walking.
What was that?
Fuck is that bitch's problem? She's seriously not gonna investigate? That seems rather irresponsible. She likely assumes someone else will take care of it, and I suppose she isn't wrong. Why would she say that now? She participated in Rantaro's investigation. Though I suppose Maki has been acting strange lately. I've been told she spends all day in her lab. What is she doing in there?
Well, I'll have a talk with Maki later. For now, we should start investigating. I'm seriously pissed we gotta do this, but it's our only chance to survive.
Yep, I'll do my very best too. Gonta and I have to work especially hard so we can regain everyone's trust. Oh yes, you're right. But we don't even need to investigate. It's pretty obvious who the culprit is. Is he gonna say it's, Yeah, that's... Ryoma was murdered during a certain little magical girl's show, right? So I think we need to be a little more suspicious of that magical little girl. But she's so suspicious that it seems not suspicious.
Funny, that's exactly what I said in regard to you being the mastermind, Kokichi.
But then again, she's made herself look not suspicious, so now she's super suspicious.
Degenerate man!
Gee, shut up already! How dare you toy with Himiko's pure heart?
You got me!
You just said Himiko, didn't you? But I never mentioned her name.
She's the only one who's been remotely associated with magic, though.
You gotta be kidding me!
Shut up, shut up! Himiko would never do something like that. I know her best, right, Himiko?
No.
No.
This is the part where you agree with me! Himiko, can you at least tell us the trick behind the Underwater Escape Act?
Because?
If we know how the trick works, we can try to figure out how the culprit killed...
Impossible.
Not possible. Why?
It's magic.
There's no trick to the underwater escape because it was my magic.
This is no time to no time to be all magical and fantastical, Himiko. Somebody's dead. More importantly, Ryoma's dead. And I don't get to do his voice anymore.
How long is that donkey-lipped midget gonna keep saying that? Himiko, in order for us to find the culprit, it's plain to see we need your help.
Cut it out.
My answers won't change no matter what you say. There's no trick to my magic because it's magic.
Seriously?
How long are you gonna keep that bullshit up? Listen, if we don't catch the culprit, we're...
That's enough. If Himiko says it's magic, then it's magic. I'll use my Neo Aikido to obliterate any degenerate male who bullies Himiko.
I'm not bullying her, it's her fault she's being so stubborn.
Oh, victim blaming Kaito, really? We're doing this now?
Well, it's fine if you don't want to help us. I'll just figure it out myself.
Right?
Actually, that sounds pretty fun. To solve this mystery, we must first learn the trick behind Himiko's Underwater Escape Act.
We must do it.
We have no choice in the matter. He's right, we have no choice. No choice but to find the culprit who killed Ryoma. This investigation is to save all of our lives, because we're risking our lives in the class trial.
Investigation time! There it is.
Shuichi!
Hey Shuichi, you got a sec?
What's wrong?
Before we start the investigation, there's something I gotta tell you. You're my sidekick from now on.
More like you're my sidekick, dude. I was Kaede's sidekick, then she got executed, now I'm the protagonist and you're the sidekick. The only way you can become the protagonist is if you kill me, or if it turns out that I did the murder. But I don't think Shuichi did the murder. And I think they kind of went out of their way to definitely be like, yeah, no, there's no foreshadowing to this. Shuichi definitely had nothing to do with the magic show. And Angie was like, yeah, I didn't know how you would be useful, so we didn't have you help with it. So, yeah. It's not like it's not like the first chapter where they clearly showed you everything that Kaede was doing without telling you, the player, what she was actually doing. Which, honestly, I can't even be mad at how wrong I was for that chapter, because that was really good foreshadowing, really good twist. I love that. So yeah.
Your sidekick?
I'm more of a scientist kind of guy, so I'm not really cut out for investigations.
I mean, science and investigating things kind of go hand in hand, so
That's a good quality to have for an investigation.
there you go. Shuichi knows what I'm getting at.
Plus, the only stage fit for Kaito Momoda, Luminary of the Stars, is the universe itself.
Well, I've got some news for you, Kaito. You are in the universe at any given time.
So I'll leave the details to you. Pave the path for my success.
I don't even know what to do as a sidekick.
Just make all the tough calls. You just gotta do what I say.
He loves to make decisions on his own, doesn't he?
So,
Leave it to me.
I'll take full responsibility. Since you're my sidekick, there's nothing to worry about.
Unless you did the murder.
Alright, let's get started. First we gotta check the Monokuma file.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Kaito making me his sidekick like this, could it be? I'm scared. I try hard not to be, but I'm scared. I can't stop thinking about the pain and sadness that comes if I reveal the truth. That's what I'm afraid of. Is he trying to help me?
Hey, what's the matter? Let's check the Monokuma file already.
Okay.
Right. At Monokuma's behest, I looked over the Monokuma file. At Kaito's request. Did I say Monokuma's request? The victim is Ryoma Hoshi, the ultimate tennis pro. The body was discovered in the gym. The cause of death was drowning. Oh, so he was dead before they ate him. His body was consumed by piranhas until only bones remained. He was handcuffed also. No other injuries can be confirmed at this time. There may not have been any other injuries, and it's not like we can tell anyway. There's no body. Unless there was a broken bone or something, we won't be able to figure that out.
What? There's less written here than before. I've got a bad feeling about this.
The time of death isn't written here. So the time of death is probably relevant to the case then. Whenever Monokuma leaves something important out like that, it's because it would break the case. He doesn't want it to be too easy. 'Cause it's a game!
Remember.
The previous Monokuma file indicated Rantaro's time of death, correct? Body was discovered in the library. Time of death 9:10 p.m. Blunt force trauma to the back of the skull. Cranial fractures and immediate death. But the Monokuma file this time doesn't indicate a time of death.
Did Monokuma mess up?
Nope, it's because knowing exactly when he died would give away too much and there wouldn't be any game.
No.
No, this was intentional. Oh, did he tell us that in this one? I thought I remembered him saying that, but I might have been remembering something from a previous game where he said that. Monokuma told us he wouldn't give us any information that would reveal the culprit. Thinking about it that way, it implies that the information would be damning evidence for the culprit.
So that means the key to this case is the time of death.
It's definitely a key. It's definitely an important thing to figure out.
Well done.
Don't know how we're going to do that, though, considering we have only piranha stripped bones to work with in terms of a body.
Huh, there you go. I knew I picked a good sidekick.
There's one more thing in the Monokuma file that catches my eye. Ryoma's cause of death. It says drowning, but if that's the case, we might be able to unravel the case from there.
Monokuma file 2.
All right.
Drowning. So he was... Did they drown him in the tank, or did they drown him elsewhere and drop his body in the tank? That's the million-dollar question we'll be answering today. If probably, maybe today? I don't know. I don't know if we'll get to the trial today.
Alright, now that we're done with the Monokuma file, we can get started on the investigation. My first command to my new sidekick is... investigate everywhere and find clues that will lead us to the culprit.
So do the same thing I always do. It's pretty commanding, as I expected. Alright, first things first. Let's take a look at that murder scene. Or maybe not where the murder took place, but...
Did you guys really need to break the glass? Everything's soaked now.
Well, if we had left Ryoma's body in there, we wouldn't have been able to investigate.
I guess it would have taken way too long to just empty the tank with a bucket.
Okay.
It was a lot of cleanup, but at least we can investigate the tank now. There should be a clue around here. I should take a closer look.
Yeah, you're right.
Alright. So that square there is the bottom of the piranha tank that dropped in.
Oh, excuse me. Because we broke the glass, there isn't much of anything left in the tank. Oh. But I should investigate the area thoroughly. There's bound to be something. Speaking of bound to be something, there's handcuffs right there. Why are there handcuffs here? Because we clearly saw that Ryoma was handcuffed before he was eaten by the piranhas. I was going to say eaten alive, but he was definitely already dead when they ate him, so... Still locked, and there are small scratches on them. The cuffs appear to be stainless steel, so it's not too hard to scratch. They must have been scraping against something hard or sharp.
What are those handcuffs? Were they in the tank? I've never seen handcuffs in the warehouse. Where'd they come from?
Probably from the Ultimate Magician's lab, research lab or whatever. They're probably part of the escape act, but I don't think Himiko was handcuffed when she went into the tank. Which we definitely saw her do. But she seems really intent on keeping up this whole, it's not a trick, it's magic kind of bullshit. You know, even though all of our lives are at stake, and, you know. I feel like if a murder took place as a result of a magic trick, the magician would be fairly compelled to reveal the secret and find the culprit.
There weren't any in the warehouse, so where did they come from? If they weren't in the warehouse, another place that might have handcuffs is... Could it be he's a prisoner? What? Ryoma's lab wasn't just for the ultimate tennis pro, but also for the ultimate prisoner?
Did we ever establish that? I know we went in there and saw his tennis robot, but... I don't remember anything about saying he was the ultimate prisoner, but maybe I just forgot that. It's been about a week since I did that, so... Plenty of time for me to forget important stuff like that. I would have thought it would be from the, from Himiko's research lab, because, you know, this was clearly an escape act, so... Anyway... Scratched handcuffs. I guess the scratches are probably the most important detail about that. My cursor is all, like, funky right now. Bucket of piranhas. It's a bucket full of piranhas. Gonta said he picked all the piranhas up and put them here. I can't believe Gonta would do that with his bare hands. Wait, yes I can. When I think that Ryoma's...
When I think the Ryoma's inside their stomachs, I don't even feel like eating them.
Why would you even consider eating them in the first place?
I don't think piranhas are generally an edible, a widely eaten fish, but I don't know.
Only the strong can survive in this world that Atua has created.
Amen.
The least we can do is pray for Ryoma's soul so that he may enter Atua's kingdom.
Can he really go there looking like this?
What, as a skeleton?
Those piranhas sure were a miraculous mystery. Maybe Atua was behind those videos too.
What are you talking about?
I noticed it right as the show started.
What a surprise!
I feel like there are more piranhas than yesterday than... I feel like there are more piranhas today than yesterday when we were preparing.
No.
More piranhas?
What, did they multiply overnight? There's no way they could reproduce that fast.
But compared to yesterday, the piranhas look super crammed into that tank.
So they looked more crammed together.
Dear, dear.
The water was too murky, so I couldn't tell how many more piranhas there were.
Oh my!
But anyway, it was super, 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 super crammed.
What a surprise!
Super, 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 super crammed.
Jeez, we get it.
More piranhas than yesterday. There might be something to that. Crammed piranhas.
Alright, and Ryoma's body. A decidedly cartoonish skeleton.
Ryoma's body is nothing more than a skeleton now. Not even a shadow of what he was.
What the heck is this? Hey, is this really Ryoma? I didn't see the moment it happened, so I can't believe it.
Okay,
I'm certain of it.
remember.
Everyone watching the show witnessed it. We saw Ryoma become nothing but bones.
I can't believe he died in such a gruesome way.
The water filled with blood so fast we didn't see the whole thing, thankfully. But this skeleton is unmistakably Ryoma's.
Jeez, I know he wanted to die, but he didn't have to actually go and do it.
No, I don't think that's right, Kaito. Ryoma wasn't trying to die. He said as much. He was jealous of us, who wanted to live.
What? What do you mean he was jealous?
I'm positive Ryoma wanted to join us. That's why he needed a reason to live. So that he could continue, so that he could have the same feelings we do. So that he could have the same reason to keep going. To fight alongside us.
Then he was a real idiot. Who cares if you don't have a reason to live? Can't your reason for living be something like finding good food for your... Be something like good food or your friends? Damn it, that idiot.
Okay. Ryoma's belongings. What did he have on him? Ryoma's belongings are all gathered together. His clothes, his monopathe, the key to his room. That's it. If we use this key, we can investigate Ryoma's room.
What's in his room to investigate?
The motive video. We should find out whose video Ryoma had.
Then, you think Ryoma was killed because of that video?
I can't say for certain, but we should check just in case. Although, he might have had my video. If that were the case, I might be a suspect. Well, no point thinking about that now. I do keep forgetting I can smack stuff around, but I don't think it means anything right now. Okay. Light panel. What is this? It is the control panel for the stage lights. It allows you to raise and lower the batten. I see. Okay, so that's not relevant to the case then, huh? Oh. I didn't look at the glass or the panel. There's a square pane of glass at the bottom of the water tank. It doesn't look like a broken piece. The other fragments are more random than this. It's nearly impossible for the broken water tank to produce such a perfect square... Seriously, Shuichi? Come on, it's the bottom of the piranha tank. They dropped it in, remember? What exactly is this pane? Seriously? You can't put two and two together about the... Or wait. It has a door, so they didn't drop the bottom off the tank. Huh. That's interesting. What is that pane then? I thought it was the bottom of this... I thought it was the bottom of the tank, but it's clearly got a little kind of trapdoor looking thing on it. When I stood on stage and looked up, the piranha tank was directly overhead. It was set up so the bottom would open up when the timer had reached 0. The bottom is open now and the tank is empty. It doesn't look as though it has a lid. I can see the ceiling straight through. And only the front side is glass. The other sides are made of wood. So the piranha tank had no lid, and only the front was made of glass.
Oh yeah, that tank was from Himiko's research lab.
Hey Kaito, you helped carry supplies for the show, right?
Yeah, me, Kibo, Himiko, and Angie. It was a lot of work. But I just helped carry it. I wonder how they hung it up there. It was a heavy tank full of water and piranhas. Couldn't have been easy to lift.
It seems this is where the lighting batten from the gym is attached. Ah, Karumi. The control panel on the side of the stage allows you to raise and lower the batten. It seems they lowered the batten, attached the piranha tank to it, then raised it again.
I never knew lighting battens were sturdy enough to lift a tank like that.
Since it was built to lift heavy objects, it is probably quite sturdy. Could Ryoma's body have been in the piranha tank?
and it was dropped into the bigger water tank down here. But why would they not have eaten him while he was in there, unless... Maybe because... Oh! That's why it looked like they were so crammed together. His body was already in there, and they couldn't eat him because they were all squished together. And then when they dropped the bottom of the tank out, his body and the piranhas all fell in, and they were able to actually eat his body. That's my current theory as to how this happened. How this particular part happened. I don't know how they killed him yet. They drowned him somehow. I don't think it was while... I don't think they drowned him... He was dead when he was in that tank already. Interesting. There's a ladder here. I wonder if it was used to set up the show. Okay. Yeah, we'll keep on wondering, Shuichi. There's not gonna be any explanation for that ladder. Or is it a step ladder? I think it was a step ladder. There's a curtain covering it, but I believe there's a window on the other side.
What's the matter?
What's the matter? You want to check that window out?
Okay.
Yeah, but... Oh, it's too high up to reach, huh? Yeah, it's pretty high. Even higher than the piranha tank. Higher than the piranha tank.
Yeah.
That's right. There was a ladder next to the stage. Let's go get it. Kaito quickly headed off to the stage. He returned carrying the ladder that was set up beside the stage over his shoulder.
Hey, so
But shouldn't the sidekick be the one bringing the ladder?
thank you.
Yeah, I suppose so. Thank you. After setting up the ladder on top of the stage, I climbed up the rungs.
You can just barely reach the window with this. And if you open the curtain... Oh, the window is open.
Oh. The plot thickens. They dumped his body in the piranha tank from the window. And it displaced all the piranhas so that they couldn't move around. And that's why he didn't get eaten until they dumped the piranhas into the bigger tank.
If the window's open, does that mean the culprit used it?
Most likely. The culprit may have gone in and out through this window. I don't think so. I don't think the culprit ever entered the gym.
So what's on the other side of the window?
At least not between actually killing Ryoma and dumping his body. I don't think the culprit was ever here. But it could be. I mean, they dumped his body in there. And that could have been any time. Hold on. What did Tenko say about the piranha tank? Oh, Angie said that, rather. Before the magic show, Angie said it looked like there were more piranhas compared to the night before. So, Ryoma was killed over this period of 24 hours, more or less. The night before? No, like, this is, like, early in the morning. After... Was it after they set it up, or... I feel like understanding the timeline for setting up the magic show is really important to figuring out how this all happened.
I can't see much. But I think it's the pool.
Oh, maybe the pool where Ryoma actually drowned?
Pool, huh? I heard we had one here somewhere. All right, let's check it out later. The culprit probably went through there.
The pool that nobody is supposed to swim in at night, I think, was a rule. Because they didn't want anybody accidentally drowning instead of getting killed in the killing game.
Oh, wait. What is this?
What's up?
Nothing. It just looks like marks on the window frame.
Oh, really? The window frame has distinct abrasions, perhaps scratched by something. This might be related to the case. I should remember it. Might be. Well, if it's giving me a truth bullet, it's definitely related. Did they deliberately mark the side of it to know exactly where to throw the body through the curtain when they couldn't see it because the curtains were closed? Or did that happen while they were moving the body?
You done investigating the window? Then I'll go put the ladder back.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you, Kaito.
Shouldn't the sidekick be doing this?
He complained, but he still put the ladder back for me. Yeah, I'm sidekick in name only. You're the real sidekick, dude. And I think he kind of knows that, so he's just trying to act cool. Which is a very Kaito thing for him to be doing, so it doesn't surprise me. So I think Ryoma was drowned in the pool, and then his body was tossed through this window into the piranha tank, where it displaced the piranhas and kind of crammed them all together so they couldn't eat him until the tank was dropped into the larger tank and they were able to spread out and actually consume his body. So the question is, who did it? When did they do it? I guess the more important question is, when did they do it? Because if we can figure out when they did it, we'll be able to figure out who was where and when they were there.
We all done here? Then let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Yep. All that's left is to talk to all the people. You know what, let's go left to right, starting with Gonta. Gonta could have saved him. No, Gonta should have saved him. I'm about 95% sure he was already dead when he went into that tank, Gonta. Nothing you could have done.
What happened?
Gonta, what's wrong? When piranhas attack Ryoma, if Gonta had dived into tank, then Gonta could have helped Ryoma. But Gonta got scared, too scared to do anything. It's absolutely 1000% not your fault, Gonta. Don't even go there.
A man shouldn't apologize so easily. And even if you had jumped in, they would have just eaten you too.
That's true.
And from what I read in the Monokuma file, you couldn't have saved him anyway, Gonta.
Really? Does it say that in the Monokuma file? You haven't even read the Monokuma file yet?
Gonta, not smart.
Gonta not really understand it. Gonta not smart enough to be help.
What are you talking about? If you got time to apologize, you got time to read the file. If you think you can't help, then work till you can. That's what you can do.
You're right.
That's right, Gonta. You're a huge help. There's some information that only you know, after all. Information only Gonta know? Remember during the show you went up on the stage? That was about 20 seconds before the piranhas dropped in, right? Yeah, 'cause Gonta worry about Himiko.
Could it be?
Did you see inside the tank? Did you see Himiko or Ryoma? No, Gonta see no one in tank. Gonta kind of surprised. Ah, so his body was in the piranha tank already then. You can't do that, we're still in the middle of the show. Gonta do nothing, yeah. Literally just witnessed this minutes ago.
But when the piranhas were dropped and the curtains opened, Ryoma was in the tank, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So then when did Ryoma get in there? You didn't see it happen?
Gonta don't know. Everyone see Ryoma in tank when piranhas drop in. After that... Sorry, Gonta should have watched tank better.
Like I said, a man shouldn't apologize so easily.
Yeah, you're right.
But this is a problem. Now I'm even more stumped. Even if Himiko disappearing was part of the Underwater Escape Act, how did Ryoma get into the tank? Was that part of Himiko's trick?
I'm positive that mystery will be an important point of this case. I'm gonna say I'm 95% sure Ryoma was already in the tank. Already in the piranha tank. They drowned him in the pool, chucked him through the window, through the curtains, into the tank. Tank drops in, the piranha spread out, eats the body. The most important part is, when did that happen?
I'm glad Himiko made this game more difficult. Now I won't be nearly as bored. Time to work hard to solve this mystery. Get ready, culprit, because here I come.
And Kokichi, I mean, you're not wrong, but you're still an asshole.
If Himiko doesn't tell us how the trick works, we won't know how Ryoma was killed, right?
But the way she...
But the way she is, how do we convince her? Oh, what if... Ryoma was a former apprentice of Himiko's master and vowed revenge on him. And he murdered a look-alike of himself in order to sabotage her show. Or something like that. It's happened before, probably.
It's happened before, probably. It sounds like a plot to a movie I haven't seen. She makes very specific references, and they're too specific for them not to be references to things. But I don't know.
Hey, Flemwad, there's something I want you to tell me.
That's not a very polite way to ask something for someone for something. And this surprises you, Shuichi? Look who you're talking to.
It's got nothing to do with the incident, but I heard Gonta captured you guys last night. Hell was that all about? I was running around, so I got no clue what happened.
Oh yeah, tell me too. I was also running, so I still don't know what went on.
How did Miu escape from Gonta? She's not strong enough to fight him.
Maybe she invented something to either slow him down or speed herself up.
Why, you...
Chop chop, you slimy shit.
I suppose you could say Gonta was tricked into kidnapping us? The first ones to get captured were Kibo, Kyo, Samugi, Tenko, and I. Himiko and Angie were brought in later.
From the gym, right?
Exactly. And Kokichi left the room after around 9 p.m. So they must have been brought in about 5 minutes before that.
We met Ryoma while this was all going on. I think he was running away from Gonta too. Or it was right before that. I don't remember. Damn it.
If I remember correctly,
We were all forced to participate in Gonta's insect meet and greet. We were freed about an hour into nighttime around 11 p.m.
So, from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., everyone there had an alibi. And then those people without an alibi are me, Kurumi, Maki, and Ryoma.
I see you learned what an alibi is thanks to the previous incident. But what the fuck is this insect meet and greet bullshit?
Don't let Gonta hear you say that, Mew.
why?
By the way, Mew, how were you able to get away from Gonta?
Oh, well... I had to use my secret woman weapon, and let's just leave it at that.
Secret... Is she implying that she flashed him or something?
Secret woman weapon?
Wait!
Hey, what's a secret woman weapon?
Is she trying to laugh it off?
Come on, man.
Shuichi, let's just leave her be. Listening to her will just tire you out.
Right.
You're probably right. Perhaps it's better to get the truth out of her at the class trial. Insect meet and greet has been added. So yeah, basically, from that point, if the murder took place between that time in that time frame, everybody who was there has an alibi. And we did see Ryoma just before this happened. So he could only have been killed after or during this event. But there's the fact that it could have happened after that kind of shatters everybody else's alibi. We don't know when he was killed. If he was killed after 11, then, you know, everyone's alibi doesn't mean shit. Or after 10 or 11. No, it was 11, right? 11, from 8 to 11, I think they said. Wait, I just talked to Mew. Oh. That's right, we need to ask Angie about the stage. Hey Angie, I wanted to ask you some questions about the stage. Yep, I was in charge of all the art. I even built and painted the stage. Then, do you know anything about Himiko's trick? How it worked, perhaps? No, I don't know the trick. Himiko only said it was magic. So she didn't tell Angie the secret either. By the way, you asked other people to help you with the preparations, right? Yep, we started the prep work yesterday. Lots of people helped out. Like when we were moving the heavy tank and the stairs from Himiko's research lab.
Me and Kibo helped with that. The tank had a pulley. Because it was so huge, it was still a lot of work.
Right.
And I asked Kirumi to sew the curtains, because I hate sewing.
Thanks, B2A2A.
Basically, it is all thanks to Atua that the show was a success.
No, it's because of us.
Is it really a success? I mean, it looked like she pulled off the trick just fine. It was just the small incident of her show being used to dispose of a body that I don't think she was involved with. Not knowingly. Not on purpose. I don't think she killed Ryoma. Hyoko killed her. I don't think Hyoko killed Ryoma.
By the way, were the piranhas your idea? On its own, the Underwater Escape Act is no different than a normal magic show.
So divine.
I thought it would make the show more exciting and divine if we used piranhas.
Atua has spoken.
That's what Atua told me.
So Atua gives you that kind of advice too, does he?
And about the piranha tank and the timer, those are from Himiko's lab, right?
Of course.
According to the piranha tank's manual, it's synced up with the timer. When the timer goes off, the bottom of the piranha tank will open automatically. So that means most of the equipment came from Himiko's lab.
And then?
And after we finished the prep work, we were right about to take a break. Gonta captured us, so we couldn't rehearse at all.
Jeez.
When Gonta let us go, it was already nighttime, so we couldn't go back to the gym.
Is there a rule about going to the gym at night? Students in the academy, trial rules. Until 2 students remain. Oh, the dining hall and the gymnasium are off limits at night. Oh. Interesting. So, I don't know what that means, but that will be clarified as we press onward.
Oh yeah, you can't enter the gym at nighttime.
So we decided to come to the gym today before the morning announcement.
Thank you.
Himiko and I were waiting for the gym to open. I was so relieved the set was intact.
So no one could have snuck into the gym before those two got here. Unless they came in through the window, because the pool is always open.
What's up, Shuichi? Are you worried because of this confusing incident?
But...
Don't worry, it'll be fine.
What?
Atua has spoken.
You have nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about.
No.
Our friend is dead.
That's a little worrisome. Our friend is dead, and all of us could be executed except the person who killed him, if we don't find out who did. I'd say that's worth worrying about at least a little bit.
Nothing can escape Atua's sight, not even the culprit. Atua is truly a divine force to be reckoned with.
You're starting to sound more and more creepy. Yeah. Alright, that's everybody on the left side. Feel like Himiko save her for last. Just on the off chance he says something super important.
I never would have imagined such a cruel murder happening at such a fun show. Why did the culprit commit such a barbaric act? Did they wish to see us panic?
No.
I don't think that was the sole motivation. There was some other reason for it. And that reason must be related to Himiko's magic show somehow. I don't think the motivation necessarily. I think it was just a means to dispose of the body in such a way to create enough confusion that we might not be able to figure out who did it.
I see.
So that means the culprit knew of Himiko's trick and made use of it, yes?
If that's true, did Himiko tell someone? Someone who thinks the trick is actual magic?
Well then.
Since the show was used, we must investigate the trick as well.
Kyo murmured almost to himself, then walked to the back of the stage. Is there anything to investigate backstage? Let's follow him. We should investigate the entire area anyway. Backstage. There's water and rope. What? There's a puddle behind the staircase. This isn't the puddle from when we broke the tank. The floor around it is completely dry. Perhaps someone who was wet was here doing something.
That's true.
Changing wet clothes? It's probably part of Himiko's trick, right? She was back here changing. We saw her go into the tank. That is unambiguous. She went into the tank, got out somehow while the curtain was up, and then she came back here and changed into dry clothes.
But
How would you get from the water tank to the space behind the staircase?
could it be?
This may be a vital clue for understanding the underwater escape trick. I'm not so sure understanding the trick is as vital to this case as you think it is, Shuichi, but maybe I'm wrong. It wouldn't be the first time I was completely wrong about how a murder took place. This is a pretty long rope. What was this used for?
I estimate it is roughly 65 feet in length.
Man. Itchy nose. Fucking allergies. You can tell just by looking at it?
But of course.
I am well versed in ropes. I once visited a village where their use was commonplace.
I'm not sure I like that pause on that. On the word use.
When it was time for me to leave, the women of the village all begged me to stay.
I find that deeply disturbing, but I have to focus on the investigation. What is this rope? Could this be related to the case? Do we get a truth bullet for it? Then it's probably not related. Stage stairs. This staircase goes up to the top of the stage. Inspecting it closely, we can see some places on the side are wet. That might have something to do with the puddle next to it. Kaito, what do you make of this situation, my sidekick? Not sidekick? Is there something here? No, let's decide that after we search it. Investigate anything that stands out. I did that already. There's nothing strange about it from behind. Other than the large size, it's a normal tank.
I see.
All sides of the tank seem to be made of a special type of glass. I see no hidden doors. Very mysterious. How, I wonder, did Himiko escape from the tank?
That's right.
Well, if we figured it out easily, it wouldn't be a magic trick.
I believe that if we figure out the route Himiko took, we will discover how Ryoma got in there.
I don't think so. I do not think so. I think he was in the piranha tank and they dropped him in. That is true. There is a high probability that they used the same route. Nope. To reveal how Ryoma got into the tank, I need to reveal how Himiko managed to get out of it.
I've investigated everything to do with the backstage. I still don't know how the trick was performed.
Hey, how long are you gonna investigate here? You still gotta find the culprit, you know? Come on, let's go.
Kaito.
Well, thank you for keeping me on track at least, Kaito.
Alright, Kibo.
Although there are many unknown variables, the first thing we need to make clear is, when was Ryoma murdered?
Yes. I like the way you think, Kibo. Because that is going to be what absolutely busts this investigation wide open. Well, in the middle of the show, obviously. The culprit knew how Himiko's trick worked and took advantage of it to kill Ryoma. In other words, everyone watching the show isn't suspicious.
Nope. Nope. That is not remotely true. Kaito, you didn't attend the show either, did you?
No, but I'm still not suspicious. I forgot a promise, so I was just eating breakfast. You got it? I'm not suspicious!
The more you say, I'm not suspicious, the more suspicious you sound. I do not understand how that explanation is supposed to convince me. Kimo does have a point. Whoop. Not Kibo. Wrong button. Yeah. Don't mean to rush you, Kibo, but we already heard what you had to say, so... Tenko. If Himiko says it's magic, then it's magic. Got it? What was that? I'll use my Neo Aikido to obliterate... That's what you said before. If we don't understand the magic trick, how can we possibly survive the trial? Whoop. Back up. I want to talk to Kaito.
My first command of my new psychic is...
Okay, we already know that. Alright, last person to talk to. Did I talk to Kurumi? I don't think I did. My magic was supposed to make everyone smile. Don't worry, everyone is smiling. Smiling like a uncomfortable sort of forced smile, sure. I don't think any of us can smile right now. Himiko, if it's alright, are you ready to talk about your underwater escape trick? We need to understand how your trick works if we're going to solve this mystery.
What are you saying?
There's no trick to my underwater escape act. It was magic.
You're still saying that? Do you understand the situation we're in?
No matter how much you guys threaten me, my answer won't change. It was magic. But... Okay, your time's up. The Q&A session is now over. Unless you want to feel the full volcanic... Unless you want to feel the full volcanic wrath of my Neo Aikido.
This guard is more strict than the security at idol events.
And you've been to many of those, have you? Oh, maybe we did talk to Kurumi. Or she's not important to talk to. I don't know. Believe we've investigated everything we need to know for now.
Well, our investigation's over now, so who's the culprit?
Can't say for certain yet. There's still some places I need to investigate.
What? You still don't know? I never thought detective work would be such work. So where else do we got to investigate?
First, the pool next to the gym. They're connected by the window above the stage, so that needs to be looked at.
That's true.
After that, I want to go to Ryoma's room and find out which motive video we had. Then I want to investigate the Ultimate Tennis Pro's lab. I've deduced that the handcuffs we found in the water tank probably came from there.
Is that everything?
Last of all, to the Ultimate Magician's lab. I want to know more about Himiko's trick. If we go there, I'm sure we'll find some kind of clue.
So we've got a lot to do then, huh? Good luck, Shuichi. After all, it's going to be you doing all the heavy lifting here.
Right.
What do you mean, right? Are you saying I'm useless?
Is there a right way to respond to that? I don't think there is, Shuichi. But I don't think he would pick up on it anyway, so let's get the hell out of here. To the gym, pool gym. Is there a quicker way?
Well, I mean, her lab is like right there. So I might as well just hit that first, right? Wait. Wrong way. It's around this corner. Boop. So this is Himiko's research lab. What were we going to investigate again? The trick that Himiko used in her magic show. I need to figure out how it worked. Well, you say that, but what if it was real magic with no tricks or mechanisms? Well, that would be a problem. But it's not just about the trick. I need to ask that guy some questions. Alright. Large water tank. It's a huge water tank. It looks like the one that was used in Himiko's show. It looks like the same tank Himiko used in the show. I guess this one was a backup. That's what Himiko told me and Kiba when we carried the tank out of here. And perhaps if we investigate this tank, we can learn the secret of the trick. Encouraged, I began walking around the tank. I was looking for anything that could be a switch or mechanism. What's this? There's a segment near the top of the... There's a segment of the tank near the top that opens up. But why open up there? To escape behind it. Perhaps it isn't random. This segment had to open up here. Nailed it. That's how she got out. And it is not how Ryoma got in. Kokichi. Talk to Kokichi, damn it. God, I had to click like 8 times.
Oh, hey, Shuichi, did you want to ask me something? I'll tell you anything you want to know. You are my favorite, after all.
When he says that, it sounds like he means the opposite. It makes me nervous.
I do, actually.
It's about when we were kidnapped by Gonta yesterday. You snuck into our rooms to steal our motive videos, right? But is that all you were doing? You came back pretty late.
I see. You want to know my alibi for nighttime yesterday. That's a good question to ask. The gym is off limits during nighttime, so Ryoma was probably killed before or after, which makes nighttime yesterday so suspicious since everyone was doing their own thing.
And what were you doing then?
It'd be easier if I just explained step by step what happened while I was out last night. After you regained consciousness, Shuichi, Gonta brought Himiko and Angie. That was about 5 minutes before 9 p.m. Right after that, I left Gonta's lab and headed toward the dorms. I thought I'd be back in an hour, the start of nighttime, but something happened.
Something happened?
Right when I got to the entrance hall, Karumi spotted me. That was right after I left Gonta's lab, so it was right around 9 p.m. She started throwing questions at me left and right, asking if I was up to no good. Then she started criticizing my behavior, lecturing on my and lecturing me on my manners and relationships. Can you believe that? Who does she think she is, my mom or something?
If I remember correctly,
Didn't you ask Karumi to be your mom earlier?
She just kept talking, then finally let me go at 10 p.m. when nighttime rolled around.
The whole hour?
Well, only the first hour was a lecture. We played tag for the other half. She was starting to bore me, so I turned to leave, and then...
Please wait.
Stop right there. Our conversation is not over yet. I don't gotta listen to you. You're not worthy of lecturing the ultimate supreme leader. Come on, Miss Maid, catch me if you can. Is that a request?
So that means...
And then, I guess Karumi decided to take tag super seriously. I tried my best, but in the end she caught me a little before 10 p.m. And then she started lecturing me again and let me go when nighttime started.
So do your alibis hold up even when she was chasing you around?
We ran into each other a bunch of times, so yeah, they should hold up.
Then from around 9 p.m. until nighttime, both Kokichi and Karumi have alibis. Interesting.
After Karumi let me go, I finally went to the dorms and collected everyone's videos. But by the time I returned to Gonta's lab, it was already 11 p.m. From 10 to 11, he doesn't have an alibi. Oh yeah, I did see something odd while Karimi was lecturing me. Something odd? I saw a half-naked girl wandering around the courtyard in her underwear. It was too dark for me to make out who it was, but I saw her walk around for a bit.
That's decidedly strange and unusual. I wonder who it was. A girl in her underwear. What the hell is he talking about? I don't know if we want to trust anything Kokichi says, honestly. He's been known to, you know, lie about things. By the way, you didn't get captured by Gonta yesterday, did you, Kaito? Oh, no, oh yeah, okay. Where were you, and what were you doing?
I was running around the whole time. I hid in bathrooms, bedrooms, all over the school.
I see.
What are you doing here, Samugi?
Huh? Well, I'm investigating. I know I'm plain, but it's plain to see I'm investigating.
Okay.
Is that so?
So did you find any clues?
I'm still thinking about that.
I don't think you can uncover clues just by thinking about them.
No, in fact, I still haven't found anything.
Then get to it. Looking around is how you find clues.
But I think leaving that guy alone is just plain bad. Samugi gave Kokichi a meaningful glance. So I've decided to keep an eye on him. That way, even plain old me can help out.
Alright. I don't think it's Kokichi. Body sign box. Alright. I think we've found the relevant evidence for this particular area. Does it still say I have anything to do there? Oops. Map. Nope. Got it. Okay. To the pool, I guess. Or... which is closer, Ryoma's lab or the pool? Oops. Probably the pool, I guess. Nope. Wait, what? How do I fast travel? Like, I can't... Oh, there it goes. It seemed like it wasn't letting me select the fast travel point. Alright. Let us investigate the pool. Where I'm pretty sure Ryoma was probably actually killed. Where is that window? Ah. You can see the gym's window over there.
That's the window we investigated from the top of the stage in the gym. I mean, it's pretty high up. You wouldn't be able to reach it with just a ladder.
Okay.
I agree, the ladder only barely reached the window and it was on the stage.
If that's the case, it might have been hard for someone to have gone through there.
Okay.
Yeah, you might be right.
Doesn't look like a normal school pool, like a pool at a resort. Pool is deep enough, filled up all the way, and water level hasn't changed, but I can see something floating in it. Bit of fabric? That's suspicious. There's something else floating in the pool. Looks like a piece of fabric.
It's just trash, right? Nothing to be worried about.
There is no such thing as just trash.
You know,
We're looking for the culprit. We don't have time to pick up trash.
Okay.
Yes, but... perhaps it's just my intuition, but it really does bother me. I should let it... I should learn to trust it sometimes. My intuition is the ultimate detective. Black piece of fabric. Could it be from Ryoma's jacket? We'll have to see if it was ripped in any place. An inner tube. There's an inner tube floating in the pool. Looks like a big sturdy rubber one. Let me guess, some idiots didn't clean up after themselves.
Rise and shine, Ursine.
Don't look at us. I don't like water, I prefer juice. We get heavier when our cotton absorbs water. It makes losing weight a nightmare. I want to play in the water with everyone. It sounds fun. You know, Mom and Dad might be onto something. I kind of want to go in the pool now. Yeah, who cares about losing weight?
Idiots, we're not here to play. We're here to smack these bastards into the pits of hell. We are the Mono Cubs, the meanest, nastiest, cruelest mascots around. If you don't get it, I'll throw you all in the pool myself.
Please don't. Monosuke, please stop. Can't we all just get along?
You saying that if we don't get along, I'll end up like Mana Kid?
I wouldn't be surprised. So then it was just one of us that put the inner tube here, not the Monocubs? Well, that doesn't matter. The inner tube probably isn't related to the case. Isn't related to the case. If it were just here for playing around, then... Why is there a rope tied to it? What could that be for? What indeed? What indeed? Seriously, what indeed? That is intriguing. Oh, the storage room, of course. We always find at least one piece of evidence in the storage room. Is that an electric air pump? I see. You could easily fill a large inner tube with this. Doesn't seem to be anything in here worth inspecting. Huh. Okay. So that inner tube is probably more important than it looks. Large diving board, nothing has changed. Kaito, what do you gotta say? Well, we can't stay here forever. Let's go investigate other spots. You don't have time to be lazing around, isn't that right, sidekick? Yeah, you're right. Like I were just humoring him. Okay, so I guess we're done here then? No? Always this pool area. It seems like I always get stuck trying to figure out what the last thing to look at is. That window? It's even higher than the other one. This building is a school building. That must mean that window goes somewhere. Most of the windows are blocked off, but that one looks normal. What room has a window? That's a point of interest. What room has a window? Still more? Pool... The monitor? Monitor for communicating with us. They really are anyway. They want us to know they're under control. It doesn't have equipment to spy on us. So how does Monokuma know the circumstances behind every murder then? Still something else to investigate. Monitor Kaito. The pool, the inner tube, the fabric. The rules? There's one that I found peculiar. There are also some with some specifications written here. Pool's 82 feet in length, 39 feet wide. Pool side is 13 feet. Something bothered me about the pool rules. They say... Oh god, it's this guy again.
Oh, no jumping into the pool, especially at nighttime.
Whoa, where'd you come from?
I mean, jumping itself is fine. If you want to jump in front of a car or train, that's on you. But the pool is off limits at nighttime. See? No swimming at nighttime.
But the building is still accessible. They just can't go in the pool.
That would be a violation, right? If anyone violates a school regulation, a campus-wide siren will blare. And that person will be ripped apart by the Exazols.
You'd go that far?
Well, so far the siren hasn't gone off, so no one's needed to be ripped apart. Yet.
Since that's the case, can we assume no one was in the gym or pool at nighttime?
Well, at the very least, no one alive.
No swimming at nighttime. That might just play into this case. No one alive. Curious. Do not die from choking on your food. Do not die from slipping. Do not die from a leg cramp. Swimming through nighttime is prohibited. Okay.
Hey, so
Hey, Shuichi, does this pool really have anything to do with the case? We got all psyched up about it, but it doesn't seem like there were any clues here. Well, that inner tube is still bothering me. I don't know what it tells us, but it feels like it's related to the case. But you know, if that inner tube is related to the case, the culprit is pretty careless. If it was related to the case, why didn't they clean it up? Just leaving it sitting out like that? Do you think that's straight up careless?
No.
No, even if they wanted to put it away, they couldn't. There's no pole or anything that you could use to get to the inner tube.
Remember,
The water level is so low you couldn't grab the tube even if you did manage to bring it closer. But there's a rope on it.
but you know,
Then why not just jump in and fish it out by hand? Oh, that's right, they couldn't get in the water. I suppose you could think about it that way.
you know.
Well, we can't stay here forever, right? Let's go check out the other places.
All right.
There's no time to waste, isn't that right, sidekick?
you're right.
Yeah, sure. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So there was the tennis pro lab and one other place I thought? Or maybe that was it. Maybe that's the last one I need to do. I don't remember where it was. Maybe I can fast travel to it. Oh, excuse me. Hiccups today. Just second floor. PSI maid lab, entomologist. Nope. Aha! Ultimate tennis pro. Cool. Well, let's talk to Kirumi and who else was here? Where'd they go? Oh yeah, the weird pixel doors. A thing. Oh, Kirumi and Maki. Oh, this is Maki's lab. Okay. Maki, what's her deal?
Hey,
Maki, what are you doing here?
um,
Earlier you said you weren't going to help us investigate. Were you serious about that?
So what?
You'll be fine even if I don't help, right? You're the detective, not me. Or do you think you can't solve this case on your own? That's completely different. This is... That's pretty harsh. My sidekick has been working his ass off. Sidekick?
Got it.
Yep, Shuichi's my sidekick now. Shouldn't it be the other way around? The dumb one should be the sidekick. Oh, snap. The dumb one? I'm more of a scientist type of guy, so this stuff really isn't my thing. Wouldn't a scientist be helpful for an investigation?
You know.
More importantly, where have you been the whole time? Is there a reason?
Like I know.
Why do you care? Because it's been bothering me. You've been in here ever since this room opened up. Almost as if you're keeping watch, making sure no one else enters.
I don't understand.
Is this an interrogation?
no.
No, that's not what I'm trying to do. I just want you to talk to me, Maki. This has nothing to do with the case. Please tell me so.
Hey,
It's true that you don't have to help us if you don't want to,
is that all right?
but you should at least cooperate with our investigation,
Yes.
because all our lives are on the line.
So,
Even if I did cooperate, I wouldn't be of any help. Mostly because I've been in here for the last several days. I've only gone back to my dorm at night to shower, including last night.
Hey,
Then I can ask you this, did you see Gonta at all last night? Gonta was searching the grounds last night trying to capture all of us.
why?
How were you able to avoid being caught?
I see.
Gonta did stop by, but I managed to chase him off somehow. All I did was tell him, if you lay a hand on me, I'll choke you to death with your own tongue. That's all. Gonta got scared off by that? Well, I guess he would hold back against a girl. As I listened to Maki's testimony, a question grew in my mind. Why did Maki not want to leave so badly? What reason did she have for that? Are we done here? You're wasting your time talking to me. I don't know anything. Okay, I'm done here. Oh, you are? Well, her alibi's a little shaky, but I don't think she killed Ryoma. That's what my instincts were telling me.
Hey, so
But if you remember anything, be sure to tell Shuichi, okay?
I believe in you.
He's my sidekick, you know? He's pretty good. In the end, the only thing we were able to get out of Maki was that she was here the whole time. But no one else can verify that testimony. That might be a problem later. Maki alone. And Kirumi, can you verify that you were with Kokichi for the most part? What are you doing here, Kirumi?
Do you agree?
We agreed to investigate with at least one other person present, yes? As she spoke, she glanced toward Maki. So you're staying with Maki.
That's good thinking. Hey, once we're done with the trial, can I get a massage?
But of course, since you are here, Shuichi, may I ask you a question? The time of death was not provided, so I am questioning everyone in order to determine it. When was the last time you saw Ryoma alive?
Right before I was kidnapped by Gonta yesterday, around 6 in the evening. 6 in the evening? Right, because he did get knocked out and then wake up later, so... Okay, that checks out. Last time I saw him was way before then. I didn't see him at all yesterday, actually.
Then you are fine, Kaito. What's important is the last time someone witnessed him alive.
The last time someone witnessed Ryoma alive.
Gonta was the last one to see him alive at around 8 p.m. yesterday. Ryoma managed to avoid being captured by him using his Shukuchi method.
So Ryoma was still running around after I got captured.
Furthermore, 30 minutes earlier, Miu saw Ryoma as she was fleeing from Gonta.
In that case, Gonta's testimony is highly credible.
Yes, we know that Ryoma was alive yesterday until around 8 p.m.
Witnessing Ryoma. Interesting. So it's looking more and more like he was killed during Gonta's insect incident. Which would mean that everybody there does have an alibi. We didn't ask Kirumi about confirming Kokichi's alibi, but I guess it's just kind of assumed that we would do that and she would say, yeah, that happened. Right. The tennis lab should be right here. Boop. The Ultimate Tennis Pros lab. If I'm right, then the handcuffs that were found in the tank came from here. And if the handcuffs came from here, that means the culprit was here as well. They may have left a trace of evidence. This room feels a little different from when we were here before. It feels off.
What's the matter?
What's the matter, Shuichi?
Nothing. Let's figure out the handcuffs. We should take care of that problem first.
Toward the hallway. Kaito, you're kind of in the way of the door I need to look at. Oh, never mind. It's that door. Ultimate Prisoner Lab. When did we say that he was the ultimate prisoner? I mean, I know he was in prison, but I don't remember them ever saying that this lab served another purpose. But I'm going to assume I just forgot that entirely.
This is the first time I've been in here. It's a shower room, but it feels less like the Ultimate Tennis Pros and more like the Ultimate Prisoners Lab.
Hey, so
You think it was made that way on purpose? Did they remodel the shower just for that?
Yeah, I think they did.
Jeez, Monokuma's got bad taste. Well, we already knew that. Alright, first thing catching my eye. 4 pairs of handcuffs. 1 is missing. And it looks like it was yanked off that hanger. Look, Kaito, handcuffs hanging on the wall. Oh, they look like the ones in the tank. Oh, wait, are they the same?
Because,
I think so. Here, look.
remember,
See? 1 empty hook. The handcuffs we found must have been hung here. That means the culprit was definitely here. Handcuffs updated. Uniforms, nothing worth looking at over there apparently. This is a pretty big stone sink. You could fill it up with a lot of water. Oh, did he get drowned in here? What's this? Scratches on the stone like something was scraped against it. You're right. What made them? Scratches are clearly not natural. They must have been made by some kind of metal. That is interesting. Interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Maybe he was drowned in here then. Oh, is this the window to the pool? Maybe. It's like the same shape and style, isn't it? This window has no vines or barbed wires or bars blocking it. Could it be? Ah, interesting. There was one window I could see from the pool area. This might be it. I'm going to open it and check. Yep. Yes, this is definitely it. Oh, interesting. But no, I'm thinking they drowned him in here, and then to move his body, they maybe threw him out the window onto the inner tube and used the rope so they could bring him out of the water without having to go into the water themselves, because they're not allowed to be in the pool. And then they somehow got him up to the other window and dumped him in the piranha tank.
the window you can see from the pool is the window to Ryoma's lab.
3rd floor's high up, but if they aimed well, they could reach the pool. But Monokuma said you can't go in the pool at nighttime, right?
Right. No one alive.
If anyone violates a school regulation, a campus-wide siren will blare. And that person will be ripped apart by the exosols.
Go that far?
So far the siren hasn't gone off, so no one's needed to be ripped apart. Yet.
We assume no one was in the gym or pool at nighttime?
At the very least, no one alive.
But you know,
Why do you say no one alive?
is that alright?
I believe he was hinting that a dead person wouldn't be considered to be breaking the rules. Which means it's possible that a dead body was in the gym or pool at nighttime.
No.
So there's a chance Ryoma was carried to the gym after he was killed? But you know, there'd be no point carrying his body there if he can't get in. I don't know if it's safe to say there was no point. Wait a sec, what's this? Huh?
Hey, so
Look, there's weird scratches on the window frame.
You're right.
It's as if something scraped against it. Those marks are similar to the ones that were on the gym's window frame. I'm positive these marks aren't the result of opening and closing the window normally. This window's frame is sturdy as well. Jim's window frame was the same way. It looks like it would hold, even with a lot of weight on it. What are we implying with this?
Shuichi,
You understand now, right, Shuichi? Huh?
got it.
How amazing I am to have noticed such a super ultra important clue?
Kaito Momota.
It's all in a day's work for Kaito Momota, luminary of the stars. I mean, I found a pretty important clue too, but I won't say that. Window frame. Oh, so it's not... Interesting, then. What would be the purpose of that, then? Because my first guess was they marked it from the outside so they would know where the tank was so they could somehow move the body through the window without being able to see the tank directly and get it in there. But it's somehow related to how they moved the body then. We came here to confirm my suspicions about the handcuffs found in the tank, but we found even more important clues than I expected. Together with the fact that this is Ryoma's own lab. There are too many points of concern to be mere coincidence. It must be important evidence.
Seems like you figured something out. You seem more confident.
All right.
Alright then, on to the next place. There's no point staying here.
Right. What's the next place? Shit. I did forget something. Oh yeah, Ryoma's room. That's right. Oops. Whoop. I know how controls work. Oh. I guess we can't fast travel from here then? Fine.
Hey,
So where should we go?
whoa,
Oof.
As he came out of the shower room, Kaito tripped and fell to the ground.
hold up.
The hell? Something's caught on my leg.
Looks like a cable. Ah, a cable that might be made of metal and might scratch the window frame, perhaps?
Is this for the tennis net? Man, whoever left this here should have put it in the corner.
Wait, the tennis net? I see, so that's why this room felt odd. I should investigate this in detail. The reason I thought this room felt off is because of the net. Oh yeah. I didn't even notice that. When I came in here last time, the tennis net was up.
Okay.
But now the cable has been removed.
So, like, someone took the cable off? Why would they do that?
Why indeed. To use the cable to maybe move a body?
Hey,
Kaito, can you help me?
I want to measure how long this cable is.
No need, it's just about 50 feet long.
What?
I was in the tennis club till middle school, so I know how long the cable is.
You were in the tennis club?
That's right.
That's why it pissed me off so much that Ryoma was acting like that.
Did you know Ryoma from before? Did you kill him?
I never met him, but I heard a lot about him.
You know,
I mean, these days there's no one who's played tennis that hasn't heard of him. He's been a tennis legend since middle school. He was like a hero to every tennis kid. And once I finally got to meet him, he became a coward. That pissed me off so much, I ended up being too hard on him. But regretting that now won't help. There's nothing I can do. So, what's suspicious about the length of the cable? Does something about it bother you?
no.
Nothing specific, I was just checking.
So detectives get bothered by small details, huh? Like an overbearing mother-in-law nitpicking a young wife.
What is that analogy? Tennis net cable. I've searched the whole area now. I should move on to the next one. Yeah, good thing Kaito just happened to trip over that undoubtedly vital clue. There is one more place to search, and that is Ryoma's dormitory room. So let's see about fast traveling to the front courtyard. Boom. And actually, need to take a quick break for just a moment here. I will be right back in just a couple of minutes. Let's see, where's my doot? And doot. All right. So, to the dormitory, to Ryoma's room. Kaito, any input on the situation?
He brought Ryoma's room key, right? Doesn't feel right going in there without permission, but he can't really give it anymore.
That much is true. Whoa. There you are. Kibo's sprite kind of looks like Nagito, and I keep thinking it's Nagito. But it's not Nagito. It's Kibo. He just has like kind of similar hair, especially in pixel art form.
This is Ryoma's room, huh? Where's his video? I don't see it sitting out anywhere. Maybe he put it on his pillowcase?
Kaito opened all the drawers one by one, checking each of them.
That's weird, I can't find it anywhere.
I see, so we can't find it. That's alright. That's a clue in itself.
Huh? What do you mean?
You see, if we suppose the motive for the crime was the video, there's a high possibility that Ryoma had the culprit's motive video. If their motive video was left at the scene, they would be immediately suspicious. There's no reason the culprit would leave behind that kind of incriminating evidence.
That's true.
And the video is not in the room, which means...
It's just like we thought. The video was the motive.
That's the best explanation I can think of.
That's my sidekick. Shuichi.
What's the matter, Shuichi?
Nothing.
By the way, I was thinking.
I mean,
Maybe we should have watched those motive videos after all.
What?
They showed us the most important people to us, right?
that's right.
So maybe we should have watched them. Without looking away from the truth.
I mean,
At the time I agreed with Kibo, but after thinking about it I changed my mind.
that's right.
And if we were worried about watching them alone, we could have just watched them together.
Watch them together?
Got it.
Yeah, we should have gathered everyone and watched all the videos, share everyone's motives. Even if it's something you can't bear by yourself, it'd be possible with everyone. That's what cooperation is, right?
Yeah, he's got a point. That's what Kokichi was trying to do.
Huh?
Kokichi was trying to get us to participate in a motive video I can talk. I know words. I speak. I read. I can talk, read, and do a voice at the same time. I don't even do a voice for Shuichi. This is my normal voice for the most part. Kokichi was trying to get us to participate in a motive video viewing party of sorts. That's why he forced us into the same room. You think that was his way of cooperating? Do you think the same way?
No, if that's what he wanted, he could have just asked us. That's what a normal person would have done, but the thing is, he's not normal.
That's right.
Maybe he did want us to cooperate, but there's no way to know for sure. He'd never tell us.
It's true, it's impossible to know what Kokichi is thinking. And even if he did, he'd probably be lying about it anyway, because he's a pathological liar, I'm pretty sure. I suppose he could have been acting in our favor for once. Ding dong, bing bong. Is it trial time already?
Oh, you've been tired of it for a while now?
Not at all.
Well, that's how it goes. Investigations aren't all that fun, you see. But it's a necessary step before we can move on to the main event.
Indeed.
Kinda like searching the internet for that perfect porno video.
I mean, sure. Yeah, actually. Yeah, that's,
In fact,
I'm not gonna argue on that.
the search is the best part. Weird, huh? Anyway,
Nah, I would not necessarily agree with that.
the class trial is starting soon. Please gather at the Shrine of Judgment in the courtyard.
I mean, that seems like a way shorter investigation than the first chapters.
See you later.
Trying to think, though, exactly how long. It's like the the first part of the chapter, then the murder investigation, then the trial. So there's kind of like 3 parts. Maybe it's about the same length. I don't know. I'll have to go look and see exactly what the length of that was for the first trial versus the second one. Or maybe it's just because, you know, it's kicking off and it's progressing a little bit faster.
Okay.
It's time, bro. Yeah.
Dumbass.
Did Kaito do it? Is that what the foreshadowing was for? Because Shuichi kind of foreshadowed that it was like it was a mistake to trust anybody or something, and he would learn the hard way or something, that it was a bad idea to trust people. And then the foreshadowing about it's not like I'm never gonna see him again.
Don't worry about it.
Was that foreshadowing that Kaito did the murder?
Don't worry, you could do it. I believe in you.
Believe in me. But then the question would be why? Is he doing like some is he pulling some Nagito bullshit where it's like, yeah, I did this horrible thing to help you, to make you be better at what you're doing. I did a murder so you could solve it and be better at become a better detective or whatever.
Why?
Because he seemed like he wanted to help Shuichi get like stronger and better at what he does. So I don't know. Why do you trust me, Kaito? There's a chance that I'm the
I believe in you because I want to. Do I need a reason other than that?
What?
Listen up.
Isn't that why you believed in Kaede? I mean, sure, I might get betrayed in the end, but if I worry about that, I won't be able to believe in the people I want to believe in.
Shuichi.
We're still young. I can't die before I've had my first drink or gone to space.
Let's do it.
If you're not going to get yourself in gear now, then when? Now's all you got.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
right.
good argument there.
Keep your chin up.
Yeah, that's the expression I want to see. That's my sidekick.
I just have to do it. I have to believe in myself. I have to believe that I can do this. I'm going to survive. I don't know about that. There's still 6 more chapters after this one. We haven't had the multi-murder yet. We haven't had the fake out possible suicide yet. Unless Ryoma did commit suicide somehow, but we still have to figure out the circumstances behind that, so I don't really understand it. Maybe I don't have a reason. Oh yeah, he voluntarily had his memory erased or something because people were hunting down like ultimate talent people, and he wanted to erase his talent or something. I want to die with everyone else. No, I want to live. I want to live a long life. I don't want to die. I can't die in a place like this. Never. All right. It's trial time.
Don't worry about it.
Kaito, I hope the foreshadowing is not implying that you did it. I thought it was implying that you get murdered, honestly, but you can still die as a result of the outcome of this trial, so I'm not holding my breath on you making it out of this chapter alive, my dude. Let's go to the Shrine of Judgment. Yeah, you believe in me. I mean, he's being pretty encouraging for me being about to figure out if he did it or not, so maybe he didn't do it.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, same dialogue, huh? I want to know what the hell is up with this ninja statue. Gotta have some kind of significance at some point. Is everyone ready? Not like we have choice, right?
You are quick to understand. It's as though Monokuma has you trained.
We got nothing to worry about, right, assholes? We'll figure out the culprit, won't we?
Don't worry.
Don't worry. Of course we don't have to worry. The top suspect is super obvious this time.
Hey,
Right, Himiko?
I don't think she did it. I don't think Kokichi did it either, but it's entirely possible, though.
Wait,
That's not even Aikido anymore, is it?
other way.
This matter will be discussed in due time. You should save your arguments until then.
That's right.
Yeah, let's put an end to this at the class trial.
You're right.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's do it. Rumble, ramble, ramble, ramble. Oh, not even a different animation this time? I feel like they could have added a little more flavor maybe if it was like a different, if the statue was like holding something different each time and it did a little animation based on what it was holding before disappearing. After pause, we step toward the door. I honestly didn't think I'd be doing a trial today, so I hope I don't have to cut things off in the middle of it. That would be kind of annoying, but we'll see. I was thinking I'd stick to about 4 to 5 hours. I've got 2 hours to go before I hit the 4-hour mark. If the trial goes over 5 hours, I will probably just cut it. Maybe if it there's always an intermission, so maybe I'll if I get there before it's, we'll see. Especially feeling sensitive to it now. Each one of us felt that trembling our entire bodies as we sank further still. Without sure footing, I'm positive I would have fallen as well. My breathing was becoming more ragged, my heart pounded harder and harder. Just when I thought I would pass out from the nerves. Ding! Do we get a new trial room for each trial? But this wasn't the end, no. It was only just the beginning. Choo-choo-choo-choo-choo. Welcome! Oh, it looks like it is the same room. Man, they don't even change up the rooms. I just haven't got a good look at it yet. But it looks like it's still the same room.
Welcome! You've hopelessly arrived once again. Did you want to come here again because of how wonderful it is? Isn't it wonderful? It's just, I put so much effort into building this place, it should be a monument. Actually, we're the ones who used the exosols to build this courtroom. But Father just took all the credit. But I am happy to be used as a slave by Father.
What are you saying?
You idiots. Excuse me.
You idiots really are committing to this henchman bit.
You guys are just so cute that I can't help working you to the bone. You put a lot of elaborate detail into this courtroom, almost like it's for show. For show, huh? That's an interesting way to put it. Is this just for show? Are you showing this to people outside and... Most people aren't with us, so you don't need to worry about them. Get it? They're not with us. As in, they're no longer with us, you know what I mean?
Implying that they are all dead? But that doesn't sound right.
In other words, you 13 are the only ones left in the world. Now, show me how you intend to bargain for your lives.
Doubt. Then the class trial began. Ryoma Hoshi, ultimate tennis pro. After falling from his former glory, he told us he had no reason to live. But even so, he said he wanted to fight beside us, to get us out of here. For that, he was trying to find a reason to live. He might have been a little stern, but he wasn't a cold man at all. And the person who killed him is here right now. I want to believe that's a lie. I don't want to believe it at all. But if this is where I find the truth, I won't avert my eyes anymore. This is the wish she entrusted to me. I will find the truth. To get everyone out of here. To get out of here with everyone, alive. I'm going to survive. I can't die here. In order to keep my promise to her, I will fight. I will fight for my life in this trial of truth and lies. Hell yeah, I want to save. And I'll save over my previous save file. Because having multiple save files doesn't matter, and I'm trying to get over that, because for some reason I started doing that. I've spent pretty much all of the fragments I had, didn't I? I can probably get one more, maybe. This menu is not being very cooperative. I wish it would sort them by, like, cost. Reveals V points. Save Miko's abilities. Silences all conversations except those the reticle is on. Effective during mass panic debates. I have already forgotten, like, how most of these work. Instantly silences loud voices. The keyword in the first speaker's argument will be shown from the start. Debate scrum. The entire screen will light up more frequently. Increase the amount of letter cubes that can be acquired at once. I still haven't done Psyche Taxi. I don't know what that is. I guess we'll have one of those during this trial, probably. Power of life and death. Make it easier to push the opponent during blade lock. Removes the time penalty for breaking a non-erasable piece. Imagination. I haven't done that either. What's imagination excavation? Ah, they added so much and changed things. Tension gauge will increase at a faster rate during argument armament. What's the tension gauge? Argument armament is just the rhythm game, which is a lot more involved now. It's not just hitting a button in time. It's actually like, it's more like a rhythm game. You hit the WASD at the right time, like as the circle closes in. And I still don't know how I feel about that. I've never been good at those kinds of games. Upshift, downshift, increase the speed of the reticle, decrease the speed. You know what? What do I have in here? I have increases the gauge a little bit, increases focus, and increases the amount of influence recovered by right answers. Isn't there one that just makes you automatically regain health while you're, like, focusing? Which one was that? Do I have that on available? Because that one's kind of a game breaker. Oh well. I think I have a decent handle on what happened where. It's the when I'm not sure about. But maybe when everybody starts yelling their thoughts all at once, I will figure it out. And I don't have to talk as much now. I don't have to read as much. I do this every time. Yes. Correct. Correct. Yeah, you got a vote.
I think we all know who the most suspicious one is. It's...
Let's combine our power and work together, everyone.
The person who's most suspicious is...
Now lend me your energy, everyone, so we can catch the culprit.
Tenko, Kokichi is trying to talk.
Because the murder happened during the magic show, the culprit can only be...
Tenko, you're being very rude.
Tenko, why are you interrupting me? We can't have a good trial if you talk over me.
Huh? I'm not interrupting you.
Yeah, you are.
Whatever you have to say is probably worthless anyway, because all males want to talk about is S.E. Himiko seems suspicious. Hey! Angie, how can you accuse Himiko? Aren't you her friend?
Well, I mean, we gotta start somewhere. We might as well clear who we don't think did it.
I'm just telling you what Atua is telling me. He is using his divine knowledge to show us the way to survive.
Man, bullshit.
You should thank him, lest he pour his holy wrath upon you all. Screw Atua! That guy's got nothing on me.
All right, I wanna see Tenko fight a Polynesian god.
I'll protect Himiko.
I think they were Polynesian. I should look that up before I actually say something horribly offensively wrong. No, they are Polynesian. Okay. I thought that was what I remembered reading, but I had to double check before I said the wrong thing.
But it does point to Himiko being the most suspicious.
Ryoma died during Himiko's magic show. His body appearing in the water tank leads one to think the escape trick played a part.
I don't think so. I mean, not in the murder. It was the disposal of the body. I think he was killed in his prison room, and his body was somehow ejected through the window into the pool, retrieved from the pool, and then tossed through the other window into the piranha tank. Or lowered into it somehow. Possibly use... Oh, wait. No. They could have potentially... 50... Oh! Oh, that's interesting. Do we have the measurements for the pool? The tennis wire was 50 feet. What's the width of the pool room? Like, not the pool itself, the pool. Do we still have... Did I have a tooth bullet for that? No. Damn it. I feel like that's gonna be... I'm thinking they may have... rigged up the tennis net cable like across over the pool from one window to the other, and that's why there's that scraping mark, and they use that to move his body across the area into the gym and into the piranha tank. But that only works if the width of the pool room is 50 feet or less.
It's only natural we suspect Himiko. She was the one performing the trick.
But yes, it is. We have to start somewhere, so we might as well start with proving that it was probably not Himiko. So.
No, that's wrong. The underwater escape wasn't a trick. It was magic.
Not the part you need to deny. You gotta tell us you're not the culprit.
Magic, huh? That's so cool. What a mysterious miracle.
Stop encouraging her, Angie. You already brainwashed the poor girl.
Kill Ryoma, Himiko. Atua will hear your confession.
Stop it! There's no way any of that is true!
It's true, though. Himiko used the underwater escape trick to kill Ryoma.
I don't think so, Kokichi.
Still don't have a clue how Himiko did the trick.
I don't know if that's entirely relevant.
There's no trick.
and then we'll all die.
Stop picking on Himiko! A cute, tiny flower like her couldn't kill anyone.
You don't know that,
I
but
get that you want to defend her, but that might be a bit much.
yeah. As I expected, the others suspect Himiko. But I have my doubts. I can't let this case get derailed by misunderstandings. I'm the ultimate detective, so it's up to me. Alright. What's the first? First one we're gonna do.
Atua has blessed me with an epiphany. The culprit used the underwater escape trick.
Okay, spacebar focus.
Switcheroo with Riona.
Whoop.
After that, the time ran out. The tank above Ryoma opened and piranhas came pouring out.
And he was eaten alive.
Okay, no.
Eaten to bone by piranhas.
Monokuma file too.
Savage way to go.
He was dead already. No, that's wrong.
Underwater escape
That's my line.
trick, it's magic.
We heard you the first time, Titless. No one cares.
God. That's a fact, but that doesn't mean it was a cause of death. It was explicitly not the cause of death.
The culprit used
After that, the time ran out.
Uh-huh.
The tank above Ryoma opened and piranhas came pouring out.
That much is true.
And he was eaten.
That's wrong.
That's wrong!
No, Ryoma's death was not caused by the piranhas. The Monokuma file indicates the cause of death is drowning.
So it wasn't the piranhas then. It was drowned.
That's what that means, Kaito, yes. Very good.
Ooh, I see. I haven't checked the Monokuma file yet, so that's news to me.
That should have been the first thing you looked at, but I guess if we had it and you didn't want to ask for it, fine.
You lying little brat. Telling lies is what turns you into a degenerate male.
So what? Ryoma drowned, Himiko changed places with him, and then the piranhas ate him, right?
But when did... By this logic, when did she drown him? How? Where?
No, Himiko only had 60 seconds to escape from the tank.
Yeah.
Even if they changed places at the start of the show, that's insufficient time to drown someone.
Mm,
If that is the case, then when did he drown?
I feel like he could... I feel like it's possible to drown somebody in under a minute. I mean, it would depend on a lot of circumstances, like... I mean... Did they have time to hold their breath while they were being held underwater? Or did they get taken by surprise? Or, you know, I mean, a lot of variables to consider there. But I guess we're just going to take Kibo's word that you can't drown somebody in less than a minute. Before the show started.
That's it.
That's the only possible explanation.
Before the show started. Agreed. Before being eaten by the piranhas, he made no attempt to escape the water.
I mean, he could have been unconscious.
To be precise, he made no movements whatsoever. Yes, by that point, he had already joined the ranks of the dead.
He could have been unconscious.
Could that mean his body was hidden until the culprit made it appear in the tank?
Yes, Kibo, I believe that's exactly what happened.
The culprit would have had to hide the body near the tank, and then show it during the act.
In the piranha tank.
Easier said than done.
Was there a place on stage where the culprit could have hid the body?
Yes, Kokichi.
Oh wait! Himiko should know since she performed the underwater escape trick.
Himiko, why won't you just explain it to us?
I mean, I really don't think it's necessarily relevant.
Guys, it's magic.
No, maybe it really was magic.
Gonta,
Shut up.
look, I love you, dude, but
Himiko is committed to her act.
Ooh, oft. Fancy talk.
Why is everyone still picking on Himiko? You're all worse than a drunk dad's ramblings. We should let him vent. After all, it's tough being the man of the house.
And we gotta figure out how the trick works to find where the body was hidden.
But Himiko tell us how she performed her act.
It was in the piranha tank.
Then let's work together to reveal the secret behind Himiko's trick.
So, not real magic?
No, Gonta, magic is not real.
No, it was real magic. Magic. Oh no! It's Himiko's curse! Her curses are really powerful!
That's not a real thing. That's made up.
Incantations usually more, complicated than that?
Yeah, she didn't even talk backwards. Anyway, we first need to determine how Himiko performed the trick. If we can figure that out, if we can't figure that out, this case is going nowhere. There's the little flap in the side of the tank. Water tank trick.
Did Himiko escape the water tank?
Water tank trick. A hatch that opens. Yep.
Maybe she just climbed out and no one noticed.
Nah, she definitely would have been caught.
Yep.
Perhaps the mechanism was set up on the stage.
I agree with that, though.
The curtain covering the tank was certainly suspicious.
Well, no shit.
What about that square pane of glass we found in the tank?
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
The secret hatch.
I agree with that.
I agree.
I agree.
Maki is correct. There was an escape hatch on that tank.
I see. So it did have one.
That's right. I discovered a similar tank in Himiko's lab. There was a panel on the side that could open. That was her escape.
Mind over strength!
Why you gotta be like this? Why are you like this?
No! Your logic is all wrong, Shuichi.
What do you mean?
And you don't even know why you're wrong either. Typical degenerate male. I'll smash in your face with my fists of hot burning steel!
Alright. Square glass plane. Hold on. Wait. Okay, well, let's just...
Side of the tank being open. Doesn't have
Oh.
anything to do with Himiko's escape. She didn't use an escape hatch.
Yeah, she did.
You know she didn't do that. And now, I'm gonna punch you.
I forgot a little bit about how this works, but I remember now.
What makes you so sure she didn't?
Because if she escaped from a hatch in the tank, the water would have gushed out with her. There would have been water everywhere.
Wet staircase.
Magical and all.
Damn it, I missed.
The whole trick would be ruined. With that out of the way, I'm gonna punch you.
Water would come rushing out, but exactly why there's a second step to this trick. It must be the wet staircase. Why the hatch was in the... What exact spot was it in? It was near the top, right? Where's the... where is it? Hatch near the top opens... Yeah. So... The wet staircase, then.
Because if she escaped from a hatch in the tank, the water would have gushed out with her. There would have been water everywhere.
I'll cut through your words. There was a reason the room wasn't flooded with water. The staircase that was attached to the water tank.
Oh, I see. So that the hatch, the staircase is hollow, I guess. So she came out the side of it, and then came out. Yeah. Okay.
It was aligned perfectly with the tank's escape hatch.
I get it.
Meaning, the water tank was connected to the inside of the staircase. Inside staircase? His body was in stairs?
I don't think so, but that is the logical conclusion.
It's clear how Himiko made her escape from underwater.
That part is true.
There was a curtain covering the tank during the performance, allowing Himiko to enter the staircase from the hatch undetected. Any water that spilled out would have simply funneled into the staircase.
So how do you get out from the staircase?
Trapdoor or something, yeah.
The staircase also has an escape hatch, one facing away from us.
Okay.
It's placed so that the water would not drain from the staircase.
In which case, a person could exit and leave water inside the staircase.
However, that person would be soaked, meaning that some trace should be left.
That would
Yep.
explain why there was a puddle around the stairs.
So when Himiko came out from the stairs, her wet clothes dripped water all over.
Right.
Ha-ha, bitch! Caught you soaking wet and red-handed.
No, we figured out how she did the trick, not how she did the murder, which I don't think she did.
Judging from Himiko's reaction, you hit it right on the bullseye.
But Himiko's clothes should have been wet when she left the water tank.
Her clothes were definitely not wet.
She changed clothes after she got out. We couldn't see behind the curtain.
Of course. That's because my underwater escape wasn't a trick. It was magic.
No, magic had nothing to do with why her clothes weren't wet. She changed her uniform.
That's it! It's because she changed her uniform.
The dormitory is stocked with uniforms. Did you hide one behind the stage in advance?
It's magic.
I remember seeing
It's
Himiko in the gym
magic.
this morning, carrying a uniform and a towel.
Ah! Why would you say that?
I see. She had a towel too. She may not have had time to fully dry her hair. But her short hair and hat ensured we were none the wiser.
Okay.
Can't get wet, because her body repels water.
What?
Huh? Like a duck?
Himiko, come on. Give it up already.
I mean, Tenko's the one who needs to give it up.
Fine. You win. It's just like you said. The water tank and staircase both have mechanisms.
So I was correct.
But that doesn't mean I use them. I need them, because I used my magic.
Again with the magic crap. Were you dropped on your head as a kid?
Now that we understand how the trick was performed, let us move on.
Yes, let us proceed. Where did the culprit hide Ryoma's body? From our discussion earlier, his body could have been in the space inside the staircase.
Yeah, it could have been. She could have opened the hatch, pulled him out, and then gone inside and waited for the piranhas to drop. But Gonta said nobody was in the tank, so that didn't happen.
Himiko would escape from, right?
So Himiko went in the stairs with the body? What kind of kinky shit is she into?
That
Why-
seems unlikely. There isn't enough space for two people to fit in there.
Yeah, the stairs are pretty cramped. It'd be hard to fit even Ryoma and Himiko in there. Who says they went in together? She could have made the switch as she was leaving the tank.
Yeah, good point.
At the same time, she could have pulled out the body from inside the stairs. That way she'd have room to put herself in there. See how easy that is?
Yes, thanks to this diagram that nobody else can see. But that's exactly what I said, but...
That explains how Himiko changed places with Ryoma's body.
But Gonta said there wasn't anybody in the tank when he was looking.
Why did you automatically assume it was Himiko?
Because it was her trick.
Who else but Himiko could have done it?
I don't think she did it, but we're confirming that she didn't, and that will eliminate a suspect and maybe put us on the right track as we debunk some of these possibilities. We have to start somewhere. Because Atua said so?
You may think you're protecting Himiko, but what if she really is the culprit? We'll all die, and it will be all your fault. Atua will lose precious devotees. Are you okay with that, Tenko?
I'm totally fine with that.
What?
I don't care what anyone says. Himiko would never murder someone. That's what I believe more than anything.
I mean, I think you're right, but we gotta prove that. That's the thing. We're not ganging up on her. We're just following where the evidence goes. You know, we don't have a vendetta or anything against Himiko. She's just the suspect that we're in the process of eliminating right now. So get your head out of your ass. She probably didn't do it.
To believe in her, no matter what. If I can't do that, then I'd rather just die. So until this body takes its final breath, I'm gonna keep believing in Himiko.
What are we doing? Oh, another non-stop debate. Okay. Profile 2, Gonta's account. Yeah, Gonta's account. Just to be double sure. Gonta's account was... Nobody was in the tank. Gonta didn't notice Ryoma inside until after the piranhas were released. That's what makes me think he was in the piranha tank.
Only one who could have switched out Ryoma's body is Himiko herself.
When Himiko was escaping the tank, she dragged out the body hidden in the stairs. And simply switched places with it.
Are you telling me you saw that happen?
No one could have seen that.
It was all behind the curtain.
Occurred in the middle of the show, when the tank was covered with a curtain.
Yeah.
So basically, no one saw anything.
No, Gonta saw. I missed. Shit. God damn it.
Do it, I swear. Ryoma's corpse wasn't in the staircase.
Quit lying, you donkey-lipped con artist.
Donkey lipped.
She's not lying. She's not a con artist, and she doesn't have donkey lips.
I mean, she's a magician, so she's kind of a con artist, but it's the fun, legal kind of con artistry. You trick people into believing something by the magic of illusion and all that. It is possible, but no, it's not possible because Gonta...
Ryoma's body?
Whoops.
Himiko herself.
Okay, which one was it? It was Kokichi, right?
Are you telling me you saw that happen?
No one could have seen that. It would have occurred in the middle of the show, when the tank was covered with a curtain.
Right.
So basically, no one saw anything.
No one saw anything. Except Gonta!
That's wrong.
That's wrong!
Someone did see inside the tank. It was Gonta. Gonta had climbed onto the stage and was looking into the tank from above. Isn't that right, Gonta?
Yeah, Gonta saw down into tank, but saw no one in there.
No one was in there?
Yeah, no one.
Guess that clue no good, huh?
On the contrary, that's the most important clue so far.
No, that's actually a great clue.
Oh.
Because if Ryoma's body was hidden inside the staircase, Himiko would have had to pull him out before she went inside. There certainly wasn't enough room in the staircase for both of them.
I mean, we didn't even look inside the staircase, so we don't know how big it was, but...
But that means, if the tank was empty when Goto looked, Ryoma's body must not have been hidden in the staircase.
What if they squeezed into that space with Ryoma's body to avoid getting caught?
Hiyoko is a tiny person, and Ryoma was also a tiny person.
She had no need to worry about us witnessing her at that point, for the entire stage was hidden behind a curtain, to all but Gonta.
Then the culprit never would have considered hiding inside the staircase with the body.
Yep.
Entering the staircase after moving the body is much faster, and seems more rational too.
Then Ryoma's body wasn't hidden in the stairs?
Nope.
Someone better say where the fucking body was hidden, or I'm gonna start cutting throats!
In the piranha tank. Clear that it was not inside the staircase, but where? Hangman? Nope, another non-stop debate. Okay. Piranha tank.
Where were you?
Wait. Crown piranhas is not an is probably after the piranha tank. It was hung over the escape tank. Only the front side was made out of glass. The sides were made of wood. There was no lid from the start. So the top was open.
Hiding Ryoma's body.
It wasn't really in the stairs, was it?
After all, there was only enough space for Himiko.
That is correct.
How about behind the curtain?
If there was a way to enter the tank from there, then it would be plausible.
Or maybe the body was in the tank all along, but we just couldn't see it.
You're kind of getting
Possible. You
at,
need top-notch visual effects to pull that off.
well,
And what of the tank containing the piranhas?
No way! If you put a body in there, the piranhas would have eaten it way before we saw it.
no,
But
not.
if the body and piranhas were separated,
Oh! Wait, what? I do agree, but how could... Oh, the pane of glass. That's what the pane of glass was for. It wasn't just because they didn't eat him because they were all, like, crammed together. They were actually... I see. Yeah, no, that makes more sense.
Where were you hiding Ryoma's body?
Square glass pane. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that's correct.
If there was a way to enter the tank from there, it would be
Or maybe the body...
Yeah. Yep.
impossible. You need top-notch visual effects to pull that off.
Whoops.
and what of the tank containing the piranhas?
No way! If you put a body in there, the piranhas would have eaten it.
But if the
Yes.
I agree.
I see. That makes a little more sense than what I was thinking, actually.
Kyo's hypothesis is correct. The body and the piranhas were separated. This was accomplished using the square glass pane found in the tank.
just as I thought.
That's interesting. I wondered what that was all
Using
about.
that glass pane as a divider, a safe space could be created in the tank. It is in such a space that the body could be stored, separated from the piranhas.
That means Ryoma's body was hidden in the piranha tank the whole time!
Just like I said from almost the very beginning.
So Ryoma's body fell into the water tank with the piranhas? Goto knew it!
Gonta was above stage when piranhas fall. That's why Gonta sees something no one else could. When piranhas fell, Gonta sees some big thing fall into water tank with them.
Right when the timer hit 0, the buzzer went off. And then... the bottom of the blah 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 blah. Yep. Huh?
No. Now that Gonta think about it, Gonta made me see Rioma's body.
When the piranhas dropped from the tank, I thought I saw something bigger drop as well. The water tank on the bottom is made completely out of glass, correct? You can see what is happening through the glass. Can you really hide a body in the tank?
The crammed piranhas would have blocked it.
Even in murky water, a dead body would still be visible in a glass tank.
Behind all those piranhas.
Unless a certain something was used to obscure the body.
A certain something?
There was a lot of planning put into this then. It had to be somebody who was involved with the production.
Body from the piranhas, correct? Well, that method has the added benefit of hiding the body from view.
How could you hide a body like that?
Grand piranhas.
This is it! It was the piranhas. The piranhas were obscuring the body.
Huh? The piranhas?
Yeah, the piranhas.
Remember what Angie said during the investigation?
Right as the show started, I feel that the piranhas are more piranhas than yesterday. There weren't more.
Significantly? I didn't know piranhas fuck like rabbits.
That's not what we're talking about, Mew. Shut up.
But it wasn't that the actual number of piranhas increased. The glass pane divided the tank nearly in half, right?
A little more than half.
Together, making it look like there were more of them.
The more densely the piranhas are packed, the harder it is to see past them.
Because of that, it was difficult to see the body hidden in the tank.
That glass pane was a bit it was really easy to detach that lens. It's no wonder they used it as a divider.
Gee, thanks for telling us that useless detail.
It is not really useless.
What the heck are you saying? That detail was super useful. Sure, the lid looks a little big, but if you set it diagonally, it would fit perfectly. Nice job, Himiko! Your explanation was awesome.
This much evidence? It seems like the body was definitely in the piranha tank.
But when and how?
Congrats, Himiko! Now there should be no reason for anyone to suspect you.
Well, no. There's still plenty of reason to suspect her, but...
Really?
Yeah, because if you didn't switch places with the body, then you couldn't have killed him.
How do you figure?
It only means we now have other suspects.
Yeah.
You are not cleared of suspicion just yet.
Thank you, Kyo.
Okay, but still, that's way better.
Yeah.
That's wonderful news, Himiko. Atua is happy for you.
Apologize, Angie. You and your Atua better tell Himiko you're sorry right now.
Atua is sleeping. He went to bed angry because you all doubted him.
Yeah, that sounds like a god, honestly. Oh, the mortals were mean to me. I'm gonna throw a tantrum and pout like a little bitch.
What a petty ass god.
What a pet. There you go. Hello.
No, it's okay. We shouldn't be mad at Angie. We should be mad at this class trial, at this killing game.
All right.
What?
It's too bad that the handsome god went to bed angry, though.
Himiko's still brainwashed?
Yep.
But I'm not giving up just yet. This is gonna be a breeze.
Thank you!
Oh, thanks for following. This is gonna be a breeze, huh? Deprogramming somebody who's been brainwashed, that's not a breeze. That is a whole thing.
Great. Now what are we gonna do? We're back to square one.
And why are we back to square one?
We're not back to square one.
Because any of us could still be the culprit. Jeez! You flunk out of Tard school or something?
Jeez. Wow, that's okay.
Nuh-uh. Not everyone. We can narrow it down to whoever doesn't have an alibi yet.
2017, I think, is when this game came out, so yeah, that particular word is a little that's not an appropriate word for even a character like her to be using. Like that.
What alibi?
I know that's the kind of character she is, but I mean, you don't.
I guess I should have known a dumb whore pig like you wouldn't understand.
Jeez, Kokichi.
Who you calling a dumb pig?
Favorite character in Killing Harmony? It's definitely Kibo so far, just for being a robot. And I did like Ryoma, mostly because of his voice, but he's dead now, so yeah. And I am kind of starting to like Kaito. I think he might be the murderer, unfortunately. I was worried he was going to be the victim, but then because there was like some serious foreshadowing there, so I suspect he might somehow be the murderer here. But you know, based on that's some like out of game kind of like Shuichi basically said, like, he was foreshadowing that Kaito was gonna die or something. So as the player, we're not supposed to know that, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I do kind of like Kaito because he's just like such a tryhard. And he's like, yeah, I'm cool, I'm an astronaut, you know, I'm awesome. But yeah, my favorite character is definitely Kibo, and I do kind of like Kokichi too, just because he's such a little shit.
If there's this much evidence, then there's no mistake. The body was hidden in the piranha tank.
Kaito is your favorite since day one. Yeah, like I didn't really like as soon as Kibo said like ultimate robot, I'm like, yes, you are the best character, and I really hope you survive. But like I didn't really get a sense of anyone else's like personality or traits like on day one, so. And maybe Kokichi a little bit because he was like ultimate evil overlord or criminal mastermind or something like that. I thought it was funny that was an ultimate type, but you know we had an ultimate gangster or yakuza or whatever in the second game, so you know, not really that out of place. But yeah, I like Kokichi because he's just such a little shit, and he's hilarious.
For someone to plant the body in there with such limited time is pretty tricky.
But it's too obvious for Kokichi to ever be be a murderer or the mastermind of the whole thing that everybody's trying to figure out. So if he dies, I'm thinking he's probably going to be a victim. I don't think he's going to survive the game. But I didn't think Fuyuhiko would survive in the second game either, so maybe they'll throw me for a loop. I can't use previous games to like make guesses on what's going to happen here, just because it's so, you know, removed from the universe that the first two games set up. So, yeah. Kokichi brings up a valid point. What was the... I didn't even read what he said. There's much evidence. There's no mistake the body was hidden in the piranha tank. However, someone to plant the body there with such limited time is pretty tricky. Yes, so we're getting into the how. Before the show or yesterday during nighttime. Was it done yesterday during nighttime? Right? Okay, so it was before the show. Something is... Well, no, that the school regulations don't mean shit for my line of reasoning here. Shut up, Kokichi. You know they could have set it up without entering the gym. It's obviously before the show this morning. Wait, what? Everyone would have caught him in the act. God damn it.
Oh no!
Okay, then it's before nighttime?
That's it! It was done yesterday, before nighttime.
I guess I'm still not quite clear on the timeline of events then.
The ultimate detective gets it right again.
Shut the fuck up, Kokichi.
How do you know it was before nighttime yesterday?
Stop asking me dumbass questions. It could have been solved with the process of elimination.
On this class trial? Yeah, it's just chapter 2 so far, so had a hard time figuring this one out. Well, I figured out pretty quickly early on that the body was in the piranha tank beforehand. I didn't quite guess the entirety of how it was done, or like I thought the glass pane was just the bottom of the tank that they dropped off, but then I saw that it had a trap door, so I was like, huh, I wonder what that's all about. But the body being in the piranha tank, I just figured it was because the body like displaced the piranha so that they couldn't move around and eat it, but yeah, this reveal makes a lot more sense than what I was guessing, but and I think the wire for the tennis net had something to do with how they moved the body across the pool area. So yeah, I'm putting it together, but the thing is, oh wow, Kokichi's being savage today, and I'm not so sure that Mew doesn't deserve, the way he's talking to her. But let's say that the problem I have when I play games like this sometimes is I figure something out, or I think I have something figured out, and I don't know how the game wants me to explain what I think I figured out. So it's like, yeah, you're on the right track, but you have to explain it to me this way. You have to present the right evidence in the right order. And I had that problem when I played Phoenix Wright sometimes, the Ace Attorney games too sometimes. It's like, yeah, this is the right evidence, but you don't present it here. You present it here when the witness said this or whatever. So straight to killing Harmony before the other games, so I was a newbie. Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty distinctly separate from the other games, so aside from maybe the occasional like reference to something that you might not get, I don't think it's I mean, the only reason I wouldn't have played this one first is because it's labeled 3, as in it's the third in a series. So yeah, but there's like none of this spoils anything that happens in the first 2 games, as far as I can tell. But yeah, the first 2 games are like super connected, so yeah. Bitchlet. Yeah, you are a bitchlet. You used a slur, Mew, so you deserve everything that Kokichi says to you.
First, the gym was closed during nighttime, so no one could have entered.
Right.
If you try to enter the gym at night, it'll go off.
If you try to enter the... Right. I need to keep it in my head that the pool and the gym are separate rooms, and you can enter the pool area at night, but not the pool itself. That's an important distinction that I need to keep reminding myself of.
You talking about my butthole?
Nobody even...
No, she means the alarm.
After nighttime passed, morning came. But hiding the body before the show was...
Impossible!
Nope.
Himiko and I were waiting in front of the gym before the morning announcement.
But the window was open.
Which leaves only one possibility. It was done before nighttime yesterday.
I have it in my head that they could have done this without entering the gym at all. And the game isn't giving me like any chance to interject with that, so it's obviously not the line of logic it wants me to follow quite yet.
Anyone who doesn't get
Which annoys me because
just
it's...
as stupid as the whore bitchlet over there.
Alright, you're getting a little carried away, Kokichi, but...
So the culprit placed Ryoma's corpse in the piranha tank before nighttime yesterday?
Not necessarily.
Which means he was also killed during that time frame.
Not necessarily.
Now we know what time the crime happened, right?
Not necessarily.
I still don't really get it, though. Can we narrow down the time of death a bit more?
I'm sure we can narrow it down more if we consider the source of the information. Wait, what? Source of the information? Wait. Source... The Monokuma file? Go into his account. No. Insect meet and greet? Was Ryoma present at the insect meet and greet? No. Ryoma was not present. I don't believe anyone that Gonta captured had seen Ryoma.
I was wrong.
Damn it. What exactly is the question again? Financial question. What clue helps determine when Ryoma was killed? Kokichi's account? Did you see anything suspicious, Kokichi? Suspicious woman. That's right, he did say he saw somebody wandering around, but I don't know what... I'm wondering if that's related or if it's just a lie. Just thinking of scratch sync, witnessing Ryoma.
This is it.
Oh, duh. I should have just gone through and seen what I had.
Find out who last saw Ryoma alive. We can narrow down the time of death.
Right.
You were asking
I'm
everyone
stupid.
when they had last seen him, right?
Yes, Gonta was the last person who saw Ryoma.
What? Really?
And when was the last time Gonta saw Ryoma?
When Gonta was inviting everyone to insect meet and greet, so Gonta think that was maybe 8 p.m.?
If
That
he
sounds
was
about
also
right.
8 p.m. and was killed before nighttime officially began.
Then we can assume the crime took place between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night.
So if we assume this to be true, then everybody who was at the insect incident is totally clear.
So all we must do is find someone with no alibi for that time period, yes?
And Kokichi isn't fully clear, but partly clear. Especially if Kirumi can corroborate what he said she was doing with him. The people who were setting up the magic show, Angie and Hyoko both got brought in by Gonta, didn't they? Where's the list? Whoops. Not the map. Okay. So all these people are definitely 100% clear. Himiko and Angie were brought in 5 minutes to 9. Kokichi left the lab at 9. Before supervision until after 11 p.m. So Himiko and Angie are not necessarily clear, but I do also tend to have a problem where I just keep interrupting like the game to be like, oh, maybe it was this, maybe it was this, and then they say what I'm thinking like in the very next line of dialogue, so I should just let things play out sometimes. I want to figure things out before the characters do is my problem. And it makes me feel smart. After all, most of us were detained by Gonta.
If I recall correctly, the only people that weren't there besides Ryoma.
Maybe see you later. When I'm done, I'll probably pick it up again either Thursday or Friday like I usually do. If not, then next Monday for sure. I don't really have like a defined stream and a streaming schedule. I just kind of do it whenever I have the time and when I feel like it, and sometimes I don't feel like it when I have time, so yeah. Can't promise, but your best bet is Thursday, Friday, or Monday. The only people who go besides Ryoma.
Myself, Kaito, you, and also Maki.
Maki's acting weird. She's been acting weird.
Well,
I don't know if that's relevant though.
tell the truth, even if it screwed you over.
I do this for everyone. It is my duty to unveil the truth, so I do not care if people suspect me.
I mean, if you didn't do it, then
Beautiful. Your spirit of self-sacrifice is just too beautiful.
it's not really a sacrifice if she knows she didn't do it and she can... You know, it's like, suspect me if you want. I know I didn't do it, but, you know, lying would only make me look more suspicious, so... It's like... If you 100% definitely didn't do it, you have no reason not to just tell the truth about everything.
I will also say this. The crime took place between 8 and 10 o'clock at night, and I was at the gym during that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I was only there for about 5 minutes.
Why would that be?
Why would you even say that, though? You're tying a noose around your neck, you know.
Hmm?
I don't care if it was 5 seconds. It's way too suspicious that you were alone in the gym. I think the cleaning lady here is the culprit. You killed Ryoma, didn't you?
Don't think so.
It is too soon to tell. We should hear what everyone has to say, right?
Very good, Gonta.
Fuck that noise.
But Miu, you don't have an alibi for when the crime occurred either, do you?
Think I'm suspicious? I don't even know where the gym is.
You're not exactly doing wonders for your credibility there, Mew.
Doesn't telling such obvious lies make you more suspicious, Mio?
The other two without alibis are Kaito and Maki. Let us hear your testimonies.
I was in my research lab the whole time. I didn't go to the gym.
But that cannot be proven, can it?
Nope.
What about Kaito? Only murderers grow out creepy facial hair like mustaches and goatees.
What? My goatee's not creepy. Gives me a glamorous celebrity vibe.
Anyway, among those 4, the culprit must be the one who doesn't have an alibi.
I mean, that makes logical sense, but...
Given the circumstances, we have no choice but to suspect you.
Suspect who? Who's the culprit?
Wait up. Why are you guys suspicious of me? I've been helping the whole time.
Oh, wait. I remember now. I do have an alibi.
Sus.
Whether or not I am suspicious as the trial progresses.
Well, we can't progress the trial until you all say what...
I'm the culprit.
Alright, we're doing one of these now. I forget how exactly this worked. Mass panic debate. Another tutorial? Have loud voice dialogue. When one of your opponents shouts their opinion in a loud voice, that blocks out everyone else's arguments. Even if you can see a weak spot, you can't refute it. What do I do then? Just like white noise. Shut him up with your silencer. Okay. After that, all the arguments will become audible again. Shoot the truth below the weak spot. Okay. So it's basically... This is white noise, but for the mass panic. Okay. Got it. Pool rules, Machiavelli, witnessing Ryoma. Hold the fuck on. Jesus. Okay, well.
What is your alibi?
Running away from Gonta.
When I was running from Gonta,
Tried hiding in the girl's bathroom.
In the girl's bathroom.
a little heated and catch my drift. Nothing else perfect.
What's Monkey's alibi?
Then right before nighttime, I got tired and fell
I don't even see any weak points.
In the girl's bathroom?
Are you sure you did not stay
What?
at the gym?
No, in my own room. Jeez.
Whoops. Ah, no, wait, what? You just sort out everyone's statements just like Kaede did. Focus on one at a time. Okay, so, wait, what? I don't... Running away from Gonta. Okay, pool rules, not relevant. Maki alone. Stayed in her room only during nighttime. Witnessing Ryoma. Last person who saw Ryoma. You also saw Ryoma 30 minutes before that. That doesn't help anybody. Kokichi's account. Immediately after Kokichi left the Ultimate Entomologist Lab at 9 p.m. last night, he was caught by Kurumi in the entrance hall. Stayed with her until 10, and then went back to the... He saw a figure of a girl in lingerie. He didn't say lingerie, he said underwear. Those are not quite the same thing, but okay. What is... Alright, Kokichi's account, huh? Girl in lingerie. Did not stay in the gym.
Things got a little heated and catch my drift. Nothing else perfect.
What's Monkey's alibi?
Then right before nighttime, I got tired and fell asleep.
Did you really leave the gym at 9 p.m.? Are you sure you did not... Gym?
No, in my own room. Jeez.
Wait, what? No. God damn it. Okay, so how does that work then? So it's Kurumi.
Are you sure?
Wait.
No, in my own room. Jeez.
Oh, I have to shoot it several times. Okay.
Are you sure you did not stay at the
No,
gym?
in my own room. Jeez.
God damn it. Okay. That's the only one it can be, I'm pretty sure. Kokichi's account.
Are you sure you did not stay at
God, how do I keep missing that? God damn it. Seriously? Oh, got it. God.
No, I think Kirumi is telling the truth. Kokichi's story proves it.
Right when I got to the entrance hall, Kirumi spotted me. That was right after I left Gonta's lab, so it was right around 9 p.m. She started throwing questions at me, asking if I was up to no good, blah 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 blah.
Till 10 p.m. A whole hour. Then play tag.
Kokichi met Kirumi at 9 p.m.
before 9 o'clock. After I left Gonta's lab, I ran into Kirumi. I'm pretty sure Kirumi stayed at the gym 5 minutes till 9 o'clock.
This information could have been told to us beforehand.
Yep.
Sorry, forgot. I definitely didn't keep it a secret to make the trial more interesting.
Kokichi, you little shit.
It seems far more plausible that you were telling another lie.
Unlike robots, we meatbags can't pull out our memories from our hard drive.
Yeah.
If that's supposed to offend me, your irrationality fills me with pity.
I don't think. Well, I mean, he does kind of have a point, you know. I mean, a computer brain can access information a lot faster than a human brain can. Human brains can store a lot more, but computers can access a lot more quickly. That's the main advantage that computers have over humans. It's not that they're smarter; they're just faster, a lot faster. You know, any calculations that a computer can do, a human can do, but a lot slower.
If I am the culprit, that would mean I killed Ryoma within 5 minutes, transported him to the gym, and hid him in the piranha tank. This seems highly unlikely.
It does, unless you didn't enter the gym.
If you called Ryoma out to the gym and killed him there, you wouldn't need to move him.
True.
All you would have to do was hide him in the piranha tank. Gonta was in the midst of heading to the gym to capture Angie. Are you claiming I took advantage of that and called Ryoma for a rendezvous at the gym?
Gonta was Ryoma was running away from Gonta too, though.
Look at other possibilities.
Maybe someone snuck into the gym while Kirumi and I were busy talking.
The only ones capable of that are the other three with no alibis.
Mew, Kaito, and Maki! Ah, you're including me too?
Yeah. I mean, besides not having an alibi, you're also kind of a huge bitch, so...
But there's actually one person we can rule out of the suspects list.
Right? There's one person who's totally not suspicious. Say who it is already.
Spoiler alert, Kaito, it's not you. One person can be eliminated as a suspect according to Kokichi. The figure he saw, they would certainly have an alibi. We need to pin down who that was. The key to that fact lies in Kokichi, Gonta, and Mew's statements. Who the fuck did he see? According to what we know, the figure Kokichi saw must be... Maki? Maki can be eliminated. Shoot, okay.
I was wrong.
What? I didn't even... Did I say that, or was I just thinking it? Why would everybody... Okay, it must be Mew, then.
That's it.
What was she doing out...
You're talking about Mew, right?
What? You?
Yeah, you can take her off the list. She actually has an alibi.
Booyah! Suck it, nerds!
Christ.
Wait a sec. Since when does she have an alibi?
Apparently she was the person that Kokichi says he saw.
If you compare everyone's statements, there's no other possibility.
Did see something odd while Kirumi was lecturing me. Half-naked girl wandering around the courtyard in her underwear. Why, though? Like, what? Alright, I guess we're gonna make her explain that, so...
Girl walking around half naked.
Who else could it be but the horny exhibitionist Mew?
Okay, if that's her actual reason for what...
We can't just jump to conclusions like that. He just saw a shadow, right?
I mean, you described it in...
Anyone walking around in women's underwear.
Kaito, is there something you would like to share?
That'd be a whole different issue.
I mean, the only issue would be that it's not the same person we thought had an alibi.
No, it's Mew, without a doubt. Mew and Gonta's statements prove it.
Oh, right. I forgot. You said she used like a secret woman weapon or something like that. That's right. So she did flash him or something. Going to see Mew, but Gonta's face get red hot, so Gonta no could bring her.
You mean you were hot on her trail, right?
Secret woman weapon, yeah. Oh. Wow. So, what did she like? Secret woman weapon, and let's just leave it at that. So, like, she.
I see, I see. It sounds like Gonta got an eyeful,
Wow.
Why the heck were you in your underwear, Mew? Oh, well, because, you know, I'm pretty stacked, so I figured I'd take my clothes off so Gonta would be too flustered to touch me.
And it worked. And it gave you a pretty solidly convincing alibi.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, you cockroaches.
Oh, and we get to. Okay.
Blood rushed to both of Gonta's heads 'cause he got super embarrassed.
I do recall noticing a distinctive lack of this kind of fan service in this game. All right. I withdraw that complaint.
Mew was in her underwear, and Gonta got a weird feeling. So Gonta ran away.
Uh huh.
When you got the body of a goddess, it's only natural to want to flaunt it.
All right, you're not that hot, Mew.
I show my panties to the boys all the time. And I mean all the time. So you're welcome, Gonta. Think of me during your next tug session.
Most of that was unintelligible nonsense, but it would seem that Mew has an actual alibi.
Yeah.
It took a while, but at least we got everyone's alibis cleared up. We should remember all of this in case we need to recall these events again.
Alibi for yesterday. Okay.
That leaves Kaito and Maki as the only ones with no alibis.
It's Kaito, isn't it?
Then one of them must be the culprit. But which one, I wonder?
But why? And how?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch the culprit by it.
Hold up! Don't decide just yet!
Two prime suspects, Kaito and Maki. Something inside me doesn't want to accuse Kaito. I want to believe Kaito. Until he's proven guilty, I will trust him.
Maybe we should determine the sequence of events. The culprit
No, we should do something more fun. And I have a perfect idea.
Oh, you do you now, Kokichi?
We narrowed it down to two people, and one of those two is the culprit, right? Since we don't have to randomly accuse each other, finding the truth just got much easier.
How do you figure, Kokichi?
So let's find the truth with a more effective method.
And what is this effective method?
If one of them is the culprit, then the innocent one should know who the guilty one is. Yeah?
Then they just accuse each other and we still don't know which one did it.
Because if you know you're not the culprit, then you can just accuse the other person.
Yes, that is true.
But if you are the culprit, you can falsely accuse the innocent person.
Which means there is one person among us who definitely knows who the culprit is.
Right.
To that someone who knows, do your best to convince us. Work harder.
Okay, so he's basically trying to say that if Kaito knows he didn't do it, then he knows that Maki must have done it. But by that same token, if Maki does know that she did it, she can accuse Kaito and work harder to... So this doesn't really follow, Kokichi. You've narrowed it down to two people who are going to accuse each other and do everything in their power to get out of this.
Work harder.
Have the two argue for their innocence. That's decide our culprit.
Well,
Even
that's...
if we did that, wouldn't they just pass the blame back and forth?
Yes.
And
I mean, eventually we'd probably figure it out once they stop being able to, like... They're basically like playing hot potato with the accusation. It's like, he did it, she did it, he did it, she did it, he did it, she did it. And once they run out of, you know, evidence to pass it back, you know, it's like, oh, it must have been you because you can't refute this argument.
you guys talk about cooperation and teamwork, but you're all afraid. You're too scared to point your fingers at others, so you hide behind the word trust.
It's Kaito, isn't it?
How do you expect to find the culprit when you're all worried about each other's feelings? If you're planning to expose a liar, then you have to corner them psychologically.
Kokichi, I hate you, dude, but you're making a lot of sense.
Only then will they reveal their true self as a liar, hiding beneath a layer of deceit.
And you would know all about that, wouldn't you?
If we want to find the liar, I suggest that the two suspects argue against each other.
I mean, okay. You know, it sounded kind of like a dumb plan at first, but you know, I'm starting to see what you're getting at.
No more pointless deductions. All we need is for them to fight for their lives. So let's host an argument that's totally not boring but super fun. We'll catch the culprit in their lies when we find a contradiction. We'll scare the culprit until they screw up. That's how a true class trial works.
I mean, that is kind of how they've all been done, like, throughout all of the games so far. That's pretty much... You're just saying, keep doing what we've been doing.
Right, Monokuma?
You're back to sounding stupid and dumb, Kokichi.
A development like that would liven things up a bit.
Yep, I totes agree.
You're agreeing with Monokuma? Just whose side are you on?
I mean, he's appealing to him. Not necessarily agreeing with him.
Your side. I don't want to die either, you know. That's why we need to take this seriously. A hot debate to smoke out the lies.
Smoking!
And how do you expect us to start this?
It's looking like I might hit the trial intermission at maybe around the 4-hour mark, so that'll be a good place to stop. But if I do hit the 4-hour mark and we still haven't hit the intermission, I will go until the intermission and end it there.
If you guys need some help getting started, I can give out the first topic.
The motive videos.
First topic is this. Ta-da!
The Cubs pad.
Who had Kaito's motive video, and who had Maki's? Well, Shuichi had Kaito's. So who had Maki's?
Not just any Cubs pad, but the one given to our latest victim, Ryoma.
Oh, interesting. Wait, the one given to him, or the one that's actually got his motive on it?
When we started investigating, I went straight to his room to borrow it.
So it wasn't the culprit who took the video from his room. It was you.
Whose video's on that
And
pad?
the reason why I brought it out just for this occasion is because one of these two had Ryoma's motive video. Dun dun dun.
One of these two had it?
Oh, one of... Okay. So he's saying that Kaito or Maki had Ryoma's video. Interesting.
For us to figure that out, we need to know who this motive video belongs to. Take a guess, everyone. Whose motive video did Ryoma have?
Well, it can't be Kaito because I had it. I should know the answer. Maki.
That's it.
Could be neither, but
Was Maki's
if it has to be one of them, it's Maki's.
Oh, how did you ever guess?
Because I have Kaito's.
Ooh, I know. It's because the motive video that you have belongs to Kaito. process of elimination wins again. The obvious answer was Maki, right?
Is that true, Shuichi?
Yes, you're right.
And what about that? Just because Ryoma had my motive video, that doesn't make me the culprit.
Finally, you said something! This is how a date should be. I only brought up the motive video to make you talk.
Excuse me?
Okay, now that we got the party rolling, let's get you and Kaito ready to argue. Remember, if you're not the culprit, then that means the other one is. Got that? Let's start this extreme death debate. Tear up the other's lies, rip each other apart.
Are we gearing up to a new mechanic introduction, or...
Quit screwing around! We don't need to debate who's a culprit! I'm not the culprit! That's for sure.
I'm hesitant to believe you, Kaito, but only because of Shuichi's ominous foreshadowing.
Which means...
Kaito, wait. Maybe Kokichi is wrong. Maybe he...
Maki isn't a culprit either!
What?
Why do you say that?
Huh? Really? You're saying neither of you are the culprit?
If we've established everybody else's alibi, then you're the only two who can be.
Then what would be the point of this whole debate?
Who cares about that? All I know is that neither me or Maki are the culprit. It's just a hunch I've got.
Well, your hunch is stupid, because it has to be one of you.
Hunch? Are you being serious? You do know all our lives are on the line here, right? And you're betting our lives on just a hunch?
You don't get it. This isn't just any hunch. This is an official hunch from the Kaito Momota, luminary of the stars.
Calling it official does not give it any more weight or reliability.
What?
How illogical. This is even more difficult to comprehend than Kokichi's antics.
Yep, I'm with you there, Kibo.
You can't be that stupid, right?
No, he might actually be that stupid.
I love it when the characters I hate say stuff I agree with.
Damn idiot.
A two-a-damned idiot!
Hey, don't call me an idiot. Anyway, me and Maki aren't the culprit.
Okay, if you're gonna say that, you kind of gotta, you know, it's one thing to say this. You have to convince us, prove it.
There's no doubt about it. I believe in Maki.
What?
You believe in her? But based on what?
Huh? I don't gotta base it on anything. No matter where the clues point. In the end, the only thing that matters is what I believe, right?
Okay, but if it's not her, then it's you.
Whether I believe or not. Whether I want to believe or not. That's the only thing that matters.
So, you do not have any evidence?
Only baseless conjecture.
Yep.
But I totally get where he's coming from. Because I want to believe in Himiko too.
And you were stupid for that too, because you based your belief on no evidence whatsoever, and made yourself look like an unreliable idiot, to be honest. Want to believe. Yeah, I think I understand that.
Wanting to believe in someone is a beautiful act, yes. However, it is a sentiment that has no place in a class trial.
Has no place in any trial. You know, I mean, they, even the Ace Attorney games, they did kind of make a big deal about it. It's like, oh, if you believe in your client, then they must be innocent. Kind of ignoring the fact that you basically only took innocent clients. But, yeah. I think there was, like, one twist in one of the Ace Attorney games where the person you were representing actually did the crime, but they're like blackmailing you or something, and you have to like basically like fake your way into an innocent, a not guilty verdict for them or something because of, I think they were holding somebody hostage. I don't remember. It's been forever since I played through the Ace Attorney games. I should give those another go, actually. I mean, I remember some of the like major twists, so it probably won't be as interesting, but yeah. I think there's actually a couple I haven't played. There's been like 2 or 3 that have come out since I played Investigations. That's the Edgeworth spin-off, which I didn't really like all that much. It was way too hand-holdy, too easy, too obvious. Anyway.
He's an idiot after all.
It's okay to be idiots, as long as you believe in people.
I'm iffy on agreeing with you there, Gonta. It is okay to be an idiot, but the thing about idiots, like even if they're good people, being an idiot makes you susceptible to the manipulations of bad people. Like, I don't even think Gonta's an idiot. He's just gullible. And Kokichi has, completely, basically, lied to him and manipulated him into being his henchman. And, yeah, that kind of shit happens in real life. Like, propaganda this and, misinformation that. And, people who lack critical thinking skills fall for it hook, line, and sinker and end up doing bad things for what they think are good reasons.
Guys, I said don't call me an idiot. It really hurts my feelings.
Well, you're kind of being an idiot, though, Kaito. I mean, we have narrowed it down to 2 suspects, and one of them says it's neither of them, because he believes in the other one. She has made no such refutations against that, so Kaito's basically just implicating himself. It's true, that's not what a class trial is about. You're supposed to think logically. You can't let your feelings into it. It's absurdity, total absurdity. But then again, that absurdity saved me before, right? Why do you trust me, Kaito? There's a chance that I'm the culprit. I believe in you because I want to. Do I need a reason other than that? What? Isn't that why you believed in Kaede? I mean, sure, I might get betrayed in the end, but if I worry about that, I won't be able to believe in the people I want to believe in. If I can trust my logic, maybe I should trust Kaito's feelings, too. Nope, that's not how that works. Bad Shuichi. It'll work out in the end, so... what are we doing, Shuichi?
I'll believe in Maki as well. What? That's our Kaido, right? Making us think with our hearts.
But by that logic, he's the only one who could have done it.
You too? How could the ultimate detective believe in someone without proof?
I mean, I gotta side with Kokichi on this one, Shuichi. Kaito. There's not. Yet.
Innocent until proven guilty. For now, they are innocent.
Right.
Right on, Shuichi. I knew I picked a good sidekick.
Shut up, you're digging yourself into a hole and I'm not giving you a shovel.
And by the way, I might be the ultimate detective, but I'm in training. I told you that, didn't I? I'm just an apprentice, not a real detective.
Did he ever tell anybody else that besides Kaede?
How do you plan to get closer to the truth without suspecting either of them? Unless you have evidence to the contrary, these two will remain suspects.
So I just have to turn it around, right?
Huh?
It's not like I owe that idiot a favor or anything just because he defended me. That hopeless idiot may have encouraged me a bit.
Seriously, enough's enough. Stop calling me an idiot.
We will stop calling you an idiot when you stop being an idiot, Kaito.
What are you trying to say, Maki? I didn't want to say anything, but I can't stay silent forever.
Is she gonna implicate him?
So I'll tell you.
Or is she gonna reveal her twisty backstory or something?
I met up with Ryoma during nighttime yesterday.
What?
Ryoma? At nighttime?
So Ryoma was still alive at nighttime?
I thought the crime took place between 8 and 10 o'clock at night.
That was the assumption.
That's wrong, because I met up with Ryoma during nighttime.
So that would be after 10, I guess, is what officially counts as nighttime.
If that's true, then we have no basis for suspecting only Kaito and Maki.
The people at the meet and greet are still fine because that went until 11.
That's right. Everyone suspected them, because they have alibis for those times.
That means me and Maki aren't suspects anymore.
No, it means you're not the only suspects.
Quit fucking around! You think I'm dumb enough to swallow that line of crap?
Yes, this seems too convenient.
Yeah, no kidding.
But why did Maki wait until now to mention that?
It's totally obvious. Maki's so desperate that she has to lie.
Was that a lie? Did Maki lie to us? She's been so, like, quiet and not... Like, she's just been keeping to herself this whole time. We don't know anything about her. She won't let anybody into her lab, which is suspicious in and of itself. That she apparently spends so much time in there and won't let anybody see what she's actually doing. But, I mean, she's been like a closed book this whole time, so... It's true we don't have all the facts, but why would Maki say that now of all times? If I trust her innocence, I should believe her statement. But should I? Oh, perfect. Perfect, 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 perfect. That is the perfect place for the intermission, just like I'm actually a little bit early for an intermission. I thought I would hit the 4-hour mark before getting to the intermission, but yeah. Let's just go ahead and save there. And... yeah. Alright. I like it. Okay, let's just go ahead and actually save one more time because I'm super paranoid about save files. Alright. So yeah, we're about halfway through Trial 2. As nice as it would be to divide everything neatly into each chapter and trial into individual streaming sessions, it's just not gonna work out that way, so yeah. I will probably pick this up Thursday or Friday, if not then the following Monday. And we will see who killed Ryoma, how, and why. And apparently we will figure out exactly when, too, so yeah. Thanks everybody who stopped by to chat for a little bit. Thanks to the new followers. And yeah, I'll see you when I see you. If I ever see you again.